Chapter 1483. Although Qin Chun was not optimistic about Qin Feng, she still called all the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect to Immortal Spirit City. This way, they could at least hold on for a little longer. When Qin Bai, Qin Xiu, and the rest arrived at Immortal Spirit sect, they were shocked. They had heard of Qin Feng's recent achievements. This person had actually killed Taoist Feng and subdued the Thousand Shadows sect. It was truly terrifying. For a moment, hundreds of true Qi disciples gathered in Immortal Spirit sect. This formation was more spectacular than any of the sacred sects in the Divine Land. However, everyone's expressions were grave. They were on tenterhooks every day, deeply afraid that the three sects of the Empyrean Terminus sect would join forces to kill them. Qin Feng was currently sitting cross-legged on Immortal Island. He had already cultivated for a day and a night. The spiritual energy on Immortal Island was extremely dense, especially under the fire demon tree. The spiritual energy seemed inexhaustible. However, it was clearly impossible to break through to the peak of True Nine in such a short period of time, just by cultivating hard. Qin Feng stood up and looked at the distant land shrouded in immortal mist. He knew that he had to explore and search for spiritual ponds or spiritual herbs. Otherwise, Immortal Spirit's sect and the Thousand Shadows sect would definitely be destroyed. The four beasts seemed to understand his thoughts and had already roared as they ran ahead to open up a path. Qin Feng did not go to the previously developed areas. The treasures in those areas had already been taken by him. There were probably no more opportunities. Surrounded by immortal mist, Qin Feng did not know where the ground before him was. He carefully felt his way and unknowingly arrived at a small forest. "Brat, I advise you to hand over the immortal cloud grass. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite." As soon as he stepped into the forest, Qin Feng discovered a group of people arguing not far away. There were 4 people there. One of them wore a white robe and stood there. The other 3 wore black robes. The group of 3 relied on their numbers and seemed to want to snatch a spiritual herb from the white-robed youth's hand. "Umph. A mere star order dares offend my extreme celestial sect? Aren't you afraid that Tai's sect will destroy you after this?" Although the white-robed man was alone, his attitude was not weak. The faces of the 3 black-robed men sank. Clearly, they were fearful of the name Extreme Celestial Sect. After a brief moment of hesitation, the beefy leader stared at the immortal cloud grass in the white-robed man's hand and said, "If the 3 of us kill you here, who would know that we offended someone from Extreme Celestial Sect?" The white-robed youth's eyes flashed with a dignified look. He realized that the other party wanted to kill him and rob him. "Are you sure you want to do this? The 3 of you are merely ants at the second layer of Immortal Qi. Do you really think you can kill me? Humph. You speak as if you were very powerful. You just stepped into the 3rd level of Immortal Qi. Why can't I kill you?" As soon as the black-clothed, brawny man's voice fell, he had already flown over and stabbed with his sword. That stalk of immortal cloud grass was simply too alluring. That was the best material for cultivators below the Immortal Qi realm to stabilize and strengthen their cultivation. His sword seemed light and nimble, but it caused the weather to change. Several bolts of lightning fell from the sky, causing Qin Feng to stare blankly. Rumble. A loud explosion sounded. The white-robed youth dodged it easily, but the ground where he was standing just now exploded into a huge pit. Even the surrounding trees were toppled. "You really dare to make a move? Today I want you to die without a burial ground." The white-robed youth was enraged. He leaped lightly and instantly appeared in front of the burly man. He struck out with his palm, and a huge golden palm print exploded in the void. Rumble. With a loud explosion, the black-clothed brawny man was sent flying. He was only at the 2nd level of Immortal Qi realm. In a one-on-one fight, there was no way he could defeat the white-robed youth. "What are you waiting for? Attack together." After spitting out a few mouthfuls of blood, the burly man got up and stabbed with his sword again. His 2 companions were jolted to their senses and rushed forward to help with malevolent expressions on their faces. In an instant, the forest was filled with sword light, and the sword chi was mixed with lightning. The white-robed youth was forced to retreat continuously. Although he was barely able to block the ferocious attacks of the three people, he gradually fell into a disadvantageous position. In just a few short minutes of battle, the surrounding area had been reduced to a wasteland. Some of the beasts in the forest were unlucky, and trees fell one after another. The eyes of the leader of the black-clothed brawny men lit up. He had found an opportunity. His speed suddenly increased, and the sword in his hand became sharper and sharper. The tip of the sword was aimed directly at the white-robed youth's heart. The sword chi and lightning merged together, and this sword was incomparably ferocious. The white-robed youth hurriedly struck out with his palm, blocking the opponent's sword attack and sending the black-clothed brawny man flying several meters away. However, the brawny man's two companions attacked from the left and right, stabbing the white-robed youth's arm and thigh. Poochie! The sword pierced his bones, and the white-robed youth howled in pain. His face was filled with madness as he grabbed the two swords that had pierced his body. The two-star sect disciples were shocked. They wanted to pull out their swords, but they were unable to do so. Without waiting for them to retreat and escape, the white-robed youth from the great celestial sect struck out with his palm, sending the two flying at the same time. A mere star sect, Ant dares to provoke me? Go to hell. The white-robed youth waved his hand and threw the two swords' body to the ground. He could not care less about the spurting blood. He leaped into the air and struck out with his palm, causing two golden palm prints to explode on the ground. Rumble! A loud sound shook the heavens. The two-star sect disciples were blown to smithereens in a huge pit. The white-robed youth was about to strike a third time, but he saw the black-clothed, brawny man escape with his sword. His speed was faster than a rabbit, and in the blink of an eye, he disappeared into the depths of the forest. A battle between immortal venerables came ferociously and ended quickly. Qin Fun, who was standing in the distance, had long been dumbfounded. Any one of the four people could have killed him with one slap. The people on this immortal island were too terrifying. Who are you? Why had you been hiding in the dark? The white-robed youth's cold voice resounded. Qin Feng was startled. He had been discovered. I'm just passing by. I have no ill intentions. Qin Feng quickly calmed down. This was not the first time he met a native on this immortal island. Last time, he met an immortal venerable with immortal chi level 1 and tricked that person into following him. The white-robed youth did not come over. He was heavily injured and was very wary of Qin Feng. He was afraid that Qin Feng's cultivation level was higher. Qin Feng did not dare to go over carelessly. The two of them stood tens of meters apart in the forest. The air around them seemed to solidify. Since you have no ill intentions, why are you not leaving? The white-robed youth's voice was cold. Just as Qin Feng was about to leave, Little Pig's anxious voice resounded in his mind. Master, that person has immortal cloud grass on him. That is the best spiritual herb for breaking through to the immortal chi realm. Qin Feng knew how powerful immortal cloud grass was from Little Pig's excitement. Moreover, the Emerald Spirit Ring had already sent out a strong signal, indicating that there was a treasure nearby. This time, Qin Feng stood on the spot, hesitating. He was in a hurry to break through to the next realm. Why are you not leaving? The other party was slightly nervous, and his voice became colder and colder. Qin Feng braced himself and walked over. Just as he reached the man's side, a surging immortal chi shot out from the other party's body. The pressure almost made Qin Feng faint. What are you trying to do? If you dare to take another step, don't blame me for attacking. Qin Feng stopped. At this time, he was only 10 meters away from the white-robed youth. Little brother, don't be afraid. I have no ill intentions. The white-robed youth clearly did not believe him. He frowned and shouted, Why are you still here if you have no ill intentions? I don't know you. I advise you to leave quickly. Qin Feng was worried. If he expressed his intentions, would he be killed by the other party with a single slap? However, since he had already walked over, he could only brace himself and say, Little brother, I have my eyes on the immortal cloud grass on you. I wonder. Before he could finish speaking, the white-robed youth's expression became furious. As expected, You have ill intentions. You still have so many excuses. Do you really think I'm afraid of you? Seeing that the man was about to attack, Qin Feng hurriedly said, Young hero, don't be anxious. I'm here to discuss with you. Can you sell the immortal cloud grass to me? The white-robed youth's expression changed slightly. He looked at Qin Feng suspiciously. He did not know what this person was trying to do. Oomph. The immortal cloud grass is the best cultivation material for cultivators below stage 3. I still need it to stabilize my realm. Why would I sell it to you? Seeing that the other party's attitude was unyielding, Qin Feng realized that this matter could not be negotiated. However, at this time, the other party continued to snort coldly. Moreover, your realm looks ordinary. What treasure could you possibly have? If you really want to trade for it with your flying sword. Otherwise, leave. In the Divine Land, only the 5 supreme sect leaders could get their hands on a flying sword. Even on this immortal island, not everyone had a flying sword. One had to be at least a disciple who had stepped in a stage for immortal Qi realm to have the right to obtain a flying sword. The white-robed youth brought up the flying sword because he guessed that Qin Feng did not have one. He wanted Qin Feng to back off. Unexpectedly, Qin Feng's expression became excited. He really did not lack a flying sword. Little pig, is it worth it to trade a starry sky flying sword for immortal cloud grass? Qin Feng was not in a hurry to agree to the man. He first asked for Little Pig's opinion. That's hard to say, master. If someone else used a flying sword to trade for immortal cloud grass, they would definitely suffer a great loss. But it's not a loss for master. After master obtained the whirlwind golden wheel, the flying sword's ability to fly is almost useless. Halfway through, Little Pig seemed to suddenly remember something. He shouted excitedly, Master, why do you want to trade a flying sword? You can just buy a fighter from the outside world from the system to trade. Qin Feng's eyes brightened. He really did not think of this idea. However, he quickly became worried. If the other party saw through the plane, would that guy shed all pretense of cordiality? Don't worry, master. Even the people of the Divine Land have never seen the technological products of the outside world. The immortal supremes of the immortal island are even more clueless about the outside world. Little Pig shouted excitedly. Hey, what are you standing there for? If you don't have a flying sword, then hurry up and leave. At this time, the white-robed man was a little impatient. He felt that Qin Feng wanted to rob him. Ahem. Fine, I'll trade with you. Qin Feng was ready to give it a try. The white-robed man was stunned. He clearly did not expect Qin Feng to agree. However, he was not happy. Instead, he stared at Qin Feng with vigilance. Take out the flying sword and let me see it. If you dare to lie to me, I'll make you regret it. Chapter 1484. Qin Feng laughed. Young hero, don't worry. I don't have a flying sword. Before he finished, the man shouted angrily, What are you talking about if you don't have a flying sword? Are you looking for trouble on purpose? Qin Feng was depressed. Whether in the secular world of China or the land of China, he was one of the best. But now that he was on the immortal island, he had to be careful of everyone he met. That feeling was really depressing. Although I don't have a flying sword, I have a treasure that is more powerful than a flying sword. Hearing this, the man's expression changed drastically. His voice trembled as he said, A treasure that is more powerful than a flying sword? You mean a flying artifact? Qin Feng didn't know what the flying artifact was. With a thought, a flying tiger mech landed at the side, giving the man a shock. What is this? Could it really be a flying artifact? After Qin Feng devoured Lei Wanzhong's sovereign transformation system, he realized that there were a few star technologies in that guy's system, and this flying tiger mech was one of them. Now that Qin Feng had the black dragon mech and the white phoenix mech, he didn't care about the flying tiger mech at all. He planned to use it to exchange for the man's celestial cloud grass. That's right. This is a flying artifact. How about it? Do you want to exchange? Qin Feng's serious look stunned the man in white. He didn't expect Qin Feng to really want to exchange for the celestial cloud grass and a flying artifact. You show me this flying artifact first. If it really works, I'll exchange with you. The man's voice became excited, and his eyes couldn't leave the flying tiger mech. Qin Feng jumped into the mech and pressed the start button. The flying tiger mech roared into the sky. He even fired 2 artillery shells casually, blowing up a patch of trees. After circling in the sky, Qin Feng landed steadily. When he got off the mech, he found a man in white standing there like a stone pillar. Oh my god, it really is a flying artifact, and one that can attack. Although the attack is too weak, the flying speed is passable. Young hero, do you really want to exchange with me? This time, it was the man in white's turn to look at Qin Feng expectantly, as if he was begging Qin Feng. Qin Feng felt gloomy when he heard the man talking to himself. After all, this flying tiger mech was a product of star technology, but the other party despised its attack power for being too weak. Of course I have to trade. Otherwise, why would I take it out? Qin Feng said indifferently. He suddenly felt that the people of the Immortal Island were too lame. A single fighter jet had shocked the other party to such an extent. The white-robed youth jumped up in surprise. That's great. Young hero, I am Zhang Bing, a disciple of Extreme Celestial Sect. In the future, we will be brothers. Young hero, may I know which sect you are from? What's your name? Before, Zhang Bing's attitude was cold, as if Qin Feng owed him $5 million. Now, he had changed his attitude to one of flattery, which made Qin Feng speechless. It's not good to reveal too much about my sect. Qin Feng put on the air of an expert. He was afraid that if he revealed too much, he would be killed by the other party. Zhang Bing quickly smiled and said, Yes, I spoke too much. Young hero, when are we going to change? Zhang Bing hurriedly took out the immortal cloudgrass. Immediately, a dense, spiritual energy floated in the surroundings. Qin Feng originally only wanted to trade for this immortal cloudgrass. Now that he saw Zhang Bing's impatient expression, he had some ideas. Cough, cough. Young hero Zhang Bing, you also know how powerful and precious this flying magic tool is. I'm afraid that one immortal cloud grass isn't enough, right? Qin Feng asked tentatively, feeling a little guilty. Zhang Bing nodded repeatedly. Young hero, you are right. How can one immortal cloud grass compare to the value of a flying magic tool? However, I am just an ordinary disciple. I don't have many treasures on me. These spirit stones are all for you, and this spirit sword is also for you. Zhang Bing took out all the things on him in one go. That so-called spirit sword was a purple-grade spirit weapon. Qin Feng didn't care about it at all. However, the quality of the 100 or so spirit stones was extremely good. There were many levels higher than the high-grade spirit stones in China. Forget it. Seeing that we are fated, I will accept your spirit stones and immortal cloudgrass. As for the rest, you can keep them for yourself. You can have that flying magic tool, Qin Feng said with a magnanimous attitude. Zhang Bing was so excited that he danced with joy. He felt that he had hit the jackpot today. This was a flying magic tool. It was of a much higher grade than the flying sword. Even some powerful sects on the Immortal Island couldn't get their hands on it. Thank you so much, young hero. I hope that young hero can leave your name. If you have time in the future, you must come to Tai's sect to find me. I will treat you well. Zhang Bing spoke incoherently. Qin Feng kept the immortal cloud grass and spirit stones. He wouldn't go to Tai's sect. If he was found out that he wasn't from here, he would be killed in minutes. My name is Qin Feng. If I have time in the future, I will definitely meet up with young hero Zhang. Qin Feng said, I still have things to do. I will take my leave first. After saying that, he immediately left, leaving Zhang Bing dumbfounded on the spot. Qin Feng didn't explore other areas. He had met the local Immortal Supremes on the Immortal Island twice. Now, he was a little afraid. He was lucky that he tricked the other 2 times. However, the next time, he might be killed by the other. After returning to the main city of the Immortal Island, Qin Feng sat cross-legged under the fire demon tree. There was a pile of spirit stones around him. These spirit stones were obtained from Zhang Bing. Every spirit stone contained extremely rich spiritual energy. Qin Feng took out the immortal cloudgrass. It was a plant the size of a palm. No one would have thought that it would be so powerful. Little pig, should I swallow the immortal cloudgrass? Qin Feng asked. Master, don't scare this cute little pig. The spiritual energy in the immortal cloud grass is rich and rich. It's the best cultivation material for cultivators below Immortal Chi Stage 3. With Master's current cultivation realm, you can't swallow it raw. Otherwise, your body will explode and you will die. I suggest Master refine it into an Immortal Cloud pill. Qin Feng hurriedly removed the Immortal Cloud grass from his mouth. He almost swallowed it raw. After some understanding, Qin Feng found out that the Immortal Cloud pill was a type of Tier 7 Immortal pill. In the alchemy conference in the outside world, he could only refine Tier 6 golden pills at most. Hua Ta, on the other hand, could refine Tier 7 Immortal pills. However, after subduing the Purple Cloud Immortal Fire and suffocation, Qin Feng's spiritual power had become stronger and stronger. He had reached the requirement to refine Tier 7 Immortal pills. Qin Feng threw the Immortal Cloud grass into the system's alchemy pavilion. Then, he bought some supplementary materials from the system. The process of refining the pills was relatively smooth. Half an hour later, 7 pills shimmering with white light rose from the pill furnace. Master, I suggest you try eating 2 Immortal Cloud pills first, Little Pig hurriedly reminded Qin Feng. Qin Feng kept 5 of the Immortal Cloud pills into the jade bottle and swallowed the other 2 pills. The pills melted in his mouth, and waves of medicinal fragrance wafted in his mouth. Instantly, waves of majestic and turbulent spiritual energy surged into Qin Feng's body. It expanded in his meridians and flowed, along with his blood, to every part of his body. Time ticked by. There was not much spiritual energy in these 2 Immortal Cloud pills. It was as though there was no end to it. Qin Feng felt as if his body had been cleansed. His bones became stronger, his meridians expanded and thickened, and the aura in his dantian became stronger. Rumble. After an unknown amount of time, a loud sound came from Qin Feng's body. Instantly, he felt comfortable all over. It was as if a heavy pressure had been released. Qin Feng quickly sensed the state of his body. He realized that he had broken through to the peak of Stage 9 True Qi. He suppressed the joy in his heart and threw 2 Immortal Cloud pills into his mouth. Majestic spiritual energy surged again, filling up Qin Feng's body that was empty after his breakthrough. He continuously circulated the yin-yang harmony balance and repeated the process of absorbing and stabilizing spiritual energy. After an unknown amount of time, another loud sound came from his body. This time, it was so loud that it caused a sudden change in the weather. Several bolts of lightning struck the earth. Rumble. The huge commotion gave Qin Feng a fright. He hurriedly stopped his cultivation. Master, congratulations on breaking through to Stage 1 Immortal Qi. The commotion just now was caused by the heavenly tribulation. Little Pig sounded excited. Qin Feng was stunned. He immediately looked at his body. He could clearly feel that the true qi in his body had undergone a huge change. His aura seemed to have been cleansed and became more pure and mysterious. His aura was as majestic as the sea. How could his true qi compare? Stage 1 Immortal Qi? Is this the power of the Immortal Qi realm? Qin Feng's eyes shone brightly. After muttering to himself, he suddenly punched the air. It looked like a simple punch, but it caused a change in the weather. A thunderous sound rang out. A huge fist imprint with flying swords whizzed past, scaring the 4 beasts into howling. The power of the Immortal Qi realm shocked even Qin Feng. He knew that he was invincible in the entire Divine Land. Even if he met someone from the Immortal Island who was below Stage 2, he wouldn't have to be afraid. Thinking that he still had 3 Immortal Cloud pills left, Qin Feng decided to continue breaking through. However, Little Pig stopped him. Master, you've broken through 2 realms in a row. The most important thing now is to stabilize your strength. If you continue to break through, it will bring obstacles to your future cultivation. Qin Feng understood Little Pig's meaning. Cultivation was originally a heaven-defying act. It had always been done step by step. Although it felt good to increase one's level explosively, it would bring a bigger bottleneck in the future. Just like Hua Ta, he used medicinal pills to rise to the true Qi realm. However, He couldn't even defeat Shimin Chue Shui, who was at stage 9 inner chi. After a series of breakthroughs, Qin Feng was in a good mood. He no longer cared about the 3 supreme sects of the Divine Land. He continued to sit cross-legged under the fire demon tree and began to absorb the spiritual chi stored in the dozens of spirit stones to stabilize his current realm. Cultivation knows no time. Unknowingly, Qin Feng stayed on the Immortal Island for a week. He absorbed all the spirit stones and completely stabilized his stage 1 immortal chi realm. And in this week, the Divine Land had undergone a huge change. Ever since the news of him killing Taoist Feng and subduing the Thousand Shadows sect spread, all the sacred sects were secretly stirred. It seemed like a bloody war was about to break out at any time. Chapter 1485. Qin Feng had disappeared for 7 days. The entire spirituality sect was in a mess. Su Ruo, the women, and the Qiao family knew that Qin Feng had gone to cultivate and break through. However, the other disciples of the spirituality sect and the Thousand Shadows sect did not believe this. 3 days ago, the news of the Thousand Shadows sect being taken over had spread across the Divine Continent. According to the time, the 3 supreme sects were about to attack the spirituality sect. At the entrance of the spirituality sect, hundreds of disciples from the 2 sects had gathered. The procession was spectacular, but everyone's expressions were not very good. Is there still no news of Elder Qiao? If we keep waiting like this, we'll all die. The spirituality sect disciples discussed incessantly. Elder Qiao couldn't have abandoned us and escaped, right? Although he's powerful, he can't beat the combined attacks of the 3 supreme sections. I think we shouldn't keep waiting like idiots. Let's run for our lives. If we wait until the Empyrean Terminus sect attacks, we won't even have time to run. The crowd was incredibly panicked. Under the might of the 3 supreme sects, everyone had already lost their confidence before the battle even started. Even Qin Chun started to worry. Could it be that Qin Feng had really escaped? Ling Xian, I was your sect leader before. Don't trick me, okay? Did Qin Feng escape already? Qin Chun looked at Zhao Ling Xian anxiously. Everyone's gazes fell on her. Qin Feng was everyone's pillar of support. If he escaped, who would dare to stay and fight? Zhao Ling Xian was even more worried than everyone else. Over the past few days, she had been mentally and physically exhausted trying to calm everyone down. However, she still patiently explained, "Don't worry, everyone. Qiao Feng won't abandon us and run away. My sisters and I are all his women. If he really does leave, he'll take us with him." The discussion in the crowd finally quieted down a little. It was precisely because Zhao Ling Xian and the women had been guarding the spirituality sect this entire time that everyone still had a sliver of hope. Just as everyone was distraught, someone in the crowd suddenly cried out, "Oh no, the enemy is attacking." Instantly, the crowd was in an uproar. Many people ran to the top of the mountain to check. On the plains at the bottom of the mountain, there was a dense mass of people rushing over. Just the grandeur of the dust flying through the air was enough to make people feel fearful. Oh no, it's the people from the 3 supreme sections. It's not just the 3 sections. Several other sects have come as well. The immortal spiritual sect is finished. Everyone run. We have to believe in Elder Qiao. He will definitely lead everyone to defend spiritual immortal gate. At the foot of the mountain, the enemy troops were galloping over. The hundreds of people on the top of the mountain were in a mess. Most of the disciples were still not optimistic about Qin Feng and had already abandoned their troops and fled. There were a few disciples who chose to stay, but the number was so small that it was negligible. The Thousand Shadow sect disciples looked at Qing Chen anxiously, waiting for her orders. Qing Bai had already stepped forward and said, "Since I've chosen to side with the spiritual immortal sect, I'll have to fight alongside them. I'll stay." Zhao Ling Xian looked at her gratefully. This teacher of hers had always been good to her. Qing Xiu, Qing Zhu, and Qing Mei also stepped out. They were indebted to Qin Feng, so how could they run away? Qing Chun and the rest of the Thousand Shadow sect disciples were hesitant, especially those disciples. They were not related to Qin Feng at all, so they were not willing to stay and wait for death. Since this is the will of the heavens, I'll leave it to fate. After a while, Ching Chun let out a long sigh. Her expression suddenly became serious. Disciples of the Thousand Shadow Sect, listen up. Today, we will fight to the death to protect the land of the immortal spiritual sect. Her order was met with a wave of sighs. The Thousand Shadow Sect disciples were very unwilling, but no one dared to go against sect leader Ching Chen's orders. As if realizing that she did not have long to live, Ching Chun suddenly walked to Ching Bai's side. Junior sister, there were some misunderstandings earlier. I hope you won't take it to heart. The shock in Ching Bai's eyes had yet to fade. She did not expect Ching Chun to choose to stay in the end. Ching Bai suddenly smiled. Senior sister Ching Chun, I still remember the last time the three of us fought alongside each other. That was 20 years ago. I never thought that we would be able to fight again today. If only eldest senior sister Ching Ying was here as well. That would be perfect. The two sisters were on good terms. Actually, Ching Bai could understand some of Ching Chen's extreme actions. Now that there was no news of Master Ching Zun and eldest senior sister Ching Ying, the great Thousand Shadow Sect fell on Ching Chen's shoulders. All these years, every step she took had been difficult. She was deeply afraid that one wrong step would destroy the Thousand Shadow Sect. At this moment, Su Ruo Ro and the other 9 women were gathered together. They seemed to be saying goodbye. Even though it was the 9 of them, they were still worried about this battle. It was not that they did not believe in Qin Feng. It was just that the enemies they were going to face were too powerful. How could Qin Feng change the situation by himself? The hurried sound of horse hooves rang out. When everyone looked over, they realized that a few groups of people had already stepped onto the top of the immortal spiritual sex mountain. Everyone's expressions immediately turned serious. The 9 women, Ching Chun, and the others rushed to the front of the enemy, maintaining a distance of over 10 meters. Everyone had long realized that the enemy was powerful. However, now that they were truly facing them, even Ching Chun was not confident. However, she forced herself to remain calm and stood at the top of the mountain. She whispered to Ching Bai beside her, I'll hold them back later. You take everyone and leave. Ching Bai's expression was resolute. Senior sister, we agreed to fight together. I won't be a deserter. Ching Chen was anxious. You're not deserters. Leaving is just a temporary measure. When you find Qin Feng, ask him to take revenge for me. Oh yes, Qin Feng is eldest senior sister Qing Ying's child. Qing Bai was stunned. She was stunned by this news. Her heart suddenly wavered. It was not that she was afraid of death, but she wanted to protect eldest senior sister's child and his women. Disciples of the immortal spiritual sect, listen up. Today, the leaders of the 3 supreme sects of the divine continent have come personally. If you know what's good for you, surrender obediently. The 3 supreme sects are magnanimous. They can spare your lives. One of the people who had arrived first walked out. It was the leader of 3-Star Mountain, Gu Li. Then, a few more people rode out on war horses. A mere immortal spiritual sect dares to behave atrociously in the divine continent? What do you think the 3 supreme sects of the divine continent are? I've been unhappy with the immortal spiritual sect for a long time. Today I, Twin Peaks, have come to suppress you. More and more people gathered on the flat ground at the peak of the immortal spiritual sect. 3-Star Mountain, Bailey Sect, Twin Peaks, Life and Death Sect, Poison Sect, North Clan, Soulblade, Blazing Sun Sect, Fishing Sect. Zhaoling Xian and the others had long guessed that the enemies this time were powerful, but they were still shocked by the array before them. This was a gathering of almost half of the divine continent's sacred sects. Up until now, the so-called 3 supreme sects of the divine continent had yet to show themselves. They did not need to show themselves at all. The many factions gathered at the peak of the immortal spiritual sect were enough to destroy Zhao, Ling, Xian, and the others. Yo, isn't this the leader of the Thousand Shadow Sect, Qing Chun? You're here too? Someone recognized Qing Chun, and his tone was full of sarcasm. Before this, these people would not dare to offend the immortal spiritual sect and the Thousand Shadow Sect. But now that the two sects had offended the three supreme sects of the divine continent, and seeing that the situation was hopeless, anyone would dare to jump out and shout. Although the Thousand Shadows sect only existed in name, Qing Chun was a powerful venerable in the middle stage of Stage 9 vital energy. She had always been high and mighty, so how could she tolerate being bullied by these ants in front of her? Today, I will lead the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect to defend this place to the death. If any of you dare to take even half a step forward, I will definitely kill you. Qing Chen's body emitted a wave of cold air, making it hard for many people to breathe. The leader of 3-Star Mountain, Gu Li, had a cold expression on his face. Without backing down, he shouted, "Humph! Old woman, you are really short-sighted. You cannot understand the situation at hand. You are merely in the middle stage of Stage 9 vital energy. How dare you oppose 3 venerables? I can destroy you." 3-Star Mountain was considered a first-rate sect in the Divine Continent. Its power was only below that of the Divine Continent's 5 supreme sects. Gu Li was also in the middle stage of Stage 9 vital energy, so he was not afraid of Qing Chun. In an instant, the leader of the Bailey sect, Long Ao, and the leader of the Twin Peaks, Wei Bing, also jumped out. The two of them were also in the middle stage of Stage 9 vital energy. The three of them rode on horses and looked down on Qing Chun and the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect. Their expressions were full of disdain. "Take Qin Feng's woman and leave first." Seeing that this battle was unavoidable, Qing Chun quickly whispered into Qing Bai's ear. Then, she suddenly flew forward. Rumble. There was a sudden explosion. 3-Star Mountain's Gu Li could not react in time, and was slapped off his horse by Qing Chun. The Bailey sect's Long Ao and the Twin Peaks Wei Bing were instantly enraged. They attacked Qing Chun from the left and right. Qing Chun used her charming technique right from the start, tricking the two of them into exchanging blows. They were both injured and fell to the ground. The battle was about to begin. The crowd at the top of the mountain regained their senses and surged towards Ling Xian's sect like a surging tide. The disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect braced themselves and fought. The Qiao clan also mobilized the Beast clan army and started fighting. Qing Bai watched the intense battle with anxiety. However, in the end, she still stopped Zhao Ling Xian and the other 9 women. "All of you, come with me." How could the 9 women be willing to leave? Zhao Ling Xian said anxiously, "Master Qing Bai, now that Ling Xian's sect is in danger, how can we be deserters?" Qing Bai did not want to be like this either. However, she knew that even if everyone charged forward, they would only die. Now that the Thousand Shadows sect and Ling Xian sect have lost their momentum, let's escape to a safe place first. Then, we'll find Qin Fun and discuss countermeasures. Qing Bai began to agree with Qing Chen's suggestion. However, the 9 women were still unwilling to leave. At least, they would not leave before Qin Fun returned. The battle over there was abnormally intense. In just a few minutes, there were heavy casualties and the ground was covered in blood. Qing Chen could not hold on much longer. Seeing that Qing Bai and the others had not left, she anxiously roared, "What are you waiting for? Hurry up and leave." Rumble. Just as she finished speaking, she was sent flying by Gu Li's palm. She fell to the ground and spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. However, Gu Li did not continue to chase after Qing Chun. He leapt to the front of Qing Bai and the others. When he saw the appearance of Zhao Ling Xian and the other 9 women, a naughty smile flashed across his face. "Humph, still want to escape? Do you think you can escape from me?" Gu Li's lecherous gaze swept across the women, causing them to feel disgusted. Qing Bai had already clapped her hands and left. She did not forget to shout at Zhao Ling Xian and the other 9 women, "Hurry up and leave, otherwise you really won't be able to leave." Chapter 1486. Rumble. An earth-shattering explosion rang out. Qing Bai's slender body was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. Gu Li didn't care about Qing Bai's realm and walked towards the 9 women with a smile. "You're the women with the surname Qiao? Just like the rumors, all of you are beautiful fairies. Xiao Feng is too scared to show his face and abandoned you. What's the use of a man like him? Why don't you follow me in the future? I promise I'll let you have fun every night. Shameless scoundrel, watch my sword. The 9 women were enraged by these insulting words. Su Ruo had already thrust her sword forward. However, Guli didn't care at all. He stood where he was, and the playful expression on his face became more and more intense. Seeing that the sword was about to pierce through his throat, Guli slowly raised his hand and prepared to pull Su Ruo into his embrace. However, his movements and the smile on his face suddenly froze. He stood there like a stone statue. Rumble! A loud explosion suddenly rang out from Guli's body. The bloody scene stunned the women. Even the people who were fighting fiercely at the side stopped and looked at the situation in disbelief. That was 3-Star Mountain sect leader Guli, a venerable who had stepped into stage 9, true Qi stage 9. How could he suddenly explode? The intense battle came to a temporary halt, and everyone's expression turned grave. Everyone felt a strange and powerful aura ripple in the surroundings. That aura was different from the others. It gave people a strong pressure and made them want to submit. When the crowd regained their senses, someone suddenly shouted, "Who are you? You dare to oppose 3 venerables?" Everyone looked towards where Zhao Lingxian and the other women were. A white-clothed young man was standing with his hands behind his back. The youth's long hair fluttered in the wind. He was delicate and handsome. His figure was slender and slightly thin, but he gave off a heavy feeling like a mountain. When Su Ruo and the 9 women saw the youth, their eyes lit up. At this moment, a few exclamations came from the crowd. He's Qin Feng? That Xing really came to the divine great land. He's really reckless. Sect leader, he's the #1 person in China's secular world, Qin Feng. He's now wanted by all the holy sects in the divine great land. Among the crowd, there were many disciples who came out of seclusion a while ago. At this moment, they all recognized Qin Feng. It turned out that after Qin Feng broke through to the first stage of immortal Qi, he returned to his original appearance. Today, he was invincible in the divine great land. He didn't need to conceal his identity anymore. For a moment, the crowd was in an uproar. No one expected Qin Feng to be hiding in the Celestial Soul sect. The 9 women had already surrounded him, and Su Ruo threw herself into his embrace. She had almost been bullied by Guli just then, and now she felt wronged. Seeing this, the crowd was confused. Weren't these 9 women Xiao Feng's women? Why was he entangled with Qin Feng? When I mentioned Qin Feng and Xiao Feng, many people came to a sudden understanding. These 2 people were most probably the same person. Stinky apricot, so you changed your identity and hid in the divine great land. But now that you've offended 3 true venerables, in the end, you still have to die. The Bailey sect elder, Long Qing, and the Twin Peaks elder, Wei Zheng, regained their senses. They stood on the empty ground 10 meters away and glared at Qin Feng furiously. Previously, the 2 of them had attacked Qin Feng at night after the Fire Beacon City Science and Technology exhibition. That night, they lost many elite disciples, but they still remembered him. Very quickly, the elders and sect leaders of the Poison Sect, the Blazing Sun Sect, the Mysterious Ice Sect, the Heavenly Cloud Sword Sect, and the other sects also jumped out. These sects had been suppressed by Qin Feng recently. Now that they had the sect leaders of the divine great lands, 3 true venerables backing them up, they didn't care about Qin Feng at all. Facing the attack of a group of powerful venerables, Qin Feng's expression was indifferent as usual. He raised his hand and drew a sword mark on the ground. The mark was as thick as a thigh and extended for hundreds of meters. The empty ground between the 2 parties was like the dividing line of the Chu River. Today, I, Qin Feng, will stand guard here. Anyone who dares to cross this line will die. Qin Feng's cold and indifferent voice rang out, as if he was talking about something new and unremarkable. These arrogant and domineering words stunned everyone present. The hearts of Su Ruo and the 9 women were beating wildly. When the disciples of the Celestial Soul sect and the Thousand Shadow sect regained their senses, They immediately retreated to the side of the dividing line that Qin Feng had drawn. They glared at the enemy from afar. The atmosphere was deadlocked for a moment. Long Qing of the Bailey sect and the two elders of the Twin Peaks, Wei Zheng, flew over. They had fought with Qin Feng before. This apricot Xing was only at the 7th stage of vital energy. How could they be afraid of him? Stupid apricot, today is the day you die. Just as he roared, two loud explosions suddenly rang out in the sky. Qin Feng casually raised his hand, and two balls of fire flashed. Long Qing and Wei Zheng's bodies had just arrived above the dividing line when they exploded into pieces of flesh and blood. The strong smell of blood spread out, and the playful expressions on the faces of the group of disciples suddenly froze. Long Qing and Wei Zheng, one of whom was at the 7th stage of vital energy, and the other a powerful venerable at the 8th stage of vital energy, had been killed so easily. Everyone suddenly remembered Xiao Feng's story. This person had killed Taoist Feng with his own strength not long ago. When they heard this news, many disciples were skeptical. Now that they had personally witnessed his power, they began to believe it. At this point, the disciples below the 9th stage of vital energy no longer dared to take even half a step forward. The few sect leaders of the large sects were somewhat fearful. However, when they thought of the 3 sect leaders supporting them, everyone felt a little more confident. Qin, this time, 3 true venerated sect leaders have personally led a team to eradicate your celestial soul's sect. I advise you to obediently surrender. Otherwise, we will not be courteous. The Bailey sect leader, Long Ao, glared at Qin Feng and shouted angrily. Qin Feng had killed the great elder, Long Qing, right in front of him. So what if there are 3 mere true venerated people? No matter who crosses this line today, they will die. Qin Feng sneered. He was now a celestial venerable who had stepped into the celestial Qi realm. Why would he care about ants in the vital energy realm? However, everyone did not know. They felt that Qin Feng was too arrogant. He was so young that he did not understand that there was always someone better out there. Even Su Ruo and the other girls, as well as Qing Chun and the others, were somewhat worried. Qin Feng's words had completely offended the 3 true venerated sect leaders. He was seeking his own death. Indeed, he is young and ignorant. Sect leaders of the various sects are powerful. Let us join forces and destroy Xing's prestige. The Bailey sect leader Long Ao roared angrily. Instantly, dozens of people jumped out from the crowd. These people all had powerful backgrounds. They were all powerful, venerated people who had stepped into the 9th stage of vital energy realm. Usually, any one of them could scare an ordinary disciple of a sacred sect to death. The Twin Peaks sect leader, Wei Bing, the Poison sect leader, Meng Ge, the Soul Knife sect leader, Qian Hun, and the Life and Death sect leader, Yin Kuxing. Just by looking at this lineup, the disciples of the Thousand Shadows sect and the Celestial Souls sect were scared half to death. Haha, Qin Xing, let's see how you survive today. With so many powerful sect leaders suddenly appearing beside him, the Bailey sect leader, Long Ao, was instantly filled with confidence. With a wild roar, he took the lead and attacked. However, his figure had just reached midair when it suddenly bloomed like fireworks. Rumble. The loud sound was still reverberating. The dozen or so powerful venerated people who were about to follow suddenly froze on the spot. The group of sacred sect disciples was even more shocked and blinded. No one had seen clearly what had happened, but yet another powerful venerated person in the intermediate stage of vital energy realm had fallen. In the divine land, when did powerful venerated people at the 9th stage of vital energy realm become so useless? This Xing has also stepped into the true 9 realm. Everyone, don't fight him alone. Let's attack together. I don't believe that he can withstand it. After a brief moment of shock, the Twin Peaks sect leader, Wei Bing, suddenly spoke. In an instant, the dozen or so true 9 realm powerful venerated people immediately spread out, forming a semicircle around Qin Feng. They leaped into the air at the same time, as if a dozen or so stars were rising into the sky. They had just leaped into the air when their subordinates unleashed a ferocious attack. Rumble. Suddenly, the loud sound in the sky was like thunder. Just the momentum alone was enough to make the crowd tremble in fear. Qin Feng spread his arms, and a wave of aura emanated from his body, causing all the women and disciples to retreat dozens of meters. Zhang Qingxin was the only one left. Everyone was so anxious that they screamed. Qin Feng's face was indifferent. The moment he raised his head to look at the sky, 2 beams of fire exploded in the sky, instantly blowing up 2 powerful venerated people. He casually slapped his palm again, and a ball of fire shot out like a sharp blade. It was as if the moment he raised his hand, the Twin Peaks sect leader, Wei Bing, had exploded and died. Only then did the attacks of the group of powerful venerated people land. Qin Feng nimbly took a step back, and as he slapped his palm, the weather changed dramatically. A violent snowstorm blew in front of him, as if the sky was frozen and cracked. The originally fierce battle suddenly calmed down. Everyone's attacks were frozen in the ice, and not a single sound could be heard. Qin Feng slapped his palm again. Now that he had stepped into the divine Qi realm, a simple fire blade was enough to kill these true 9-realm, powerful, venerated people. Rumble. There was a loud explosion, and the life and death sect leader, Yin Cuxing, was turned into flesh and blood. Qin Feng raised his palm again, and the Soul Blade sect leader, Qian Hun, fell. The loud sound in the sky reverberated again. Qin Feng stood on the ground like a god of war. With a wave of his hand, a true 9-realm, powerful, venerated person was destroyed. Such a powerful skill had already shocked everyone. Bang! 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 The explosions did not stop. Every sound represented the death of a powerful, venerated person. In just a few minutes, the dozen or so sect leaders had already been turned into flesh and blood, splattering all over the ground. From now on, China had lost their legend. Li Bai wrote in Chivalrous Journey, 10 steps to kill a person, 1,000 miles unstoppable. Now that Qin Feng had killed a venerated person with a palm, it completely shocked China. There was still a loud explosion in the sky, but there was no one in the sky. The group of Sacred Gate disciples stood on the other side of the border, their hearts filled with fear and panic. If their legs still had a trace of strength, they would have turned around and run. The sudden change in the battle was beyond everyone's expectations. Qin Feng had killed more than a dozen true 9-realm, powerful, venerated people, but he stood on the ground as if nothing had happened. His cold voice came from the sky. "You are too weak. Don't come here to die. Where are the stupid 3 venerated masters of China? Hurry up and kowtow to admit your mistakes. Remember the website." Chapter 1487. There is no pop-up window for free reading. Make the 3 sect masters kowtow and admit their mistakes? Qin Feng was probably the only person in the entire China who dared to say such a thing. After witnessing Qin Feng's powerful skills, no one dared to doubt his words. After witnessing Qin Feng's powerful skills, no one dared to doubt his arrogant words. Everyone even began to speculate whether the 3 masters of China could really defeat Qin Feng if they joined forces. After Qin Feng's shout, the peak of Celestial Souls sect suddenly fell into a dead silence. The hundreds of sacred sect disciples on the enemy side were so frightened that they did not dare to make a sound. The disciples of Celestial Souls sect and Thousand Shadows sect had not completely recovered from the shock. Swoosh! A sudden gust of wind broke the deathly silence. Before everyone could react, 3 figures landed in front of Qin Feng. The 3 of them were old, and their white hair fluttered in the wind. However, when they flew over, they were extremely fast. Their old eyes shone brightly, and their vitality was several times stronger than that of the youth. One of the old men with long hair coiled on top of his head said coldly, "Brat, you're too arrogant." Qin Feng guessed that they were the sect masters of China's 3 supreme sects, even without their introduction. The one who shouted was the sect master of Celestial Dragon sect, Bai Feng. The white-robed old man was Su Sun from the Empyrean Terminus sect, and a strange man in a black robe and black hat was Hun Jun from Gue Luo sect. Only then did the crowd realize that the three sect masters had appeared. For a moment, there was a lot of discussion. However, Qin Fan did not care about the voices. His gaze swept across the three of them. The auras of the three of them were slightly stronger than Taoist Feng's, but that was all. In Qin Fan's eyes, they were completely vulnerable. Since you dare to show yourselves, then kowtow and admit your mistakes. From now on, submit to Celestial Soul's sect, and I will spare your lives. Qin Fan stood with his hands behind his back and said in a matter-of-fact tone. Everyone was stunned and looked at him in disbelief. No matter how powerful this person was, he cannot be so arrogant, right? The three of them were furious. They had been famous in China for a long time, and it had been decades since anyone dared to act so fiercely in front of them. Now, they were threatened by a youth in his early 20s in front of more than half of China's disciples. However, the three of them did not make a move. They had been secretly watching the entire process of Qin Fan killing the group of powerful cultivators. The three of them were shocked. Even they couldn't guarantee that they could be as powerful as Qin Fan. Little brat with the surname Qin, you're originally from the secular world of China. Why did you come to the divine great land to stir up trouble? Hun Jun from the Gue Luo realm asked coldly. I came here to find someone, but you guys have been working together to kill me. If I don't fight back, should I just wait for death? Qin Fan was full of confidence. The three of them were speechless because they were the ones who had issued the arrest warrant. Since this is a misunderstanding, you'd better leave this place. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. Su Sun of the Empyrean Terminus sect said. The crowd was shaken. They could already tell that these three true sovereign sect leaders feared Qin Fan and wanted to make peace with him. Qin Fan laughed coldly. Don't you think it's too late to say this now? My patience is limited. If you want to live, then kowtow and admit your mistakes. Otherwise, I might change my mind. The three true sovereigns of the divine great land took the initiative to ask for peace, but Qin Fan didn't give in. This completely subverted the crowd's understanding. They didn't know where Qin Fan got his confidence from. Qin Chun and Qing Ba were already jumping up and down anxiously. They wanted to go up and persuade Qin Fan, but under such a powerful force, they couldn't even say a word. The three true sovereigns' eyes shone coldly. Obviously, they had lost their patience with Qin Fan. The sect leader of the Blue Dragon sect, Bai Kuang, suddenly flew over and struck out with his palm. Arrogant brat, today, I'll let you know my power. That palm strike caused a gust of wind to blow. A huge palm print seemed to fall from the sky. Violent true qi swept across the ground, making it hard for the crowd to breathe. Although the palm wind hadn't hit the ground, everyone was already stunned. They usually didn't have the opportunity to see a peak true 9 powerhouse in action. Today, it was an eye-opener. In the center of the surging palm wind, Qin Fan stood with his hands behind his back. He raised his head and looked at the palm flying towards him, as if it didn't exist. He shook his head and sighed. I originally wanted to leave a few more peak true 9 powerhouses in the divine great land to continue the prosperity of the martial Tao here. In this case, it seems that there's no need. As soon as he finished speaking, 2 balls of fire shot out from his eyes. Ever since he broke through to the immortal Qi realm, Qin Fan completely unleashed the power of the purple cloud immortal fire. The 2 balls of fire rose into the sky like a long dragon and instantly enveloped Bai Kuang. As for the huge palm print falling from the sky, it had long been burned into nothingness by the fire. Rumble. The sea of fire in the sky kept exploding, looking like it was going to burn the sky. Everyone looked at the sea of fire dumbfounded, thinking that true venerate Bai Kuang was still in the fire. Would he be able to survive such a violent explosion? Everyone's guess was quickly answered. The purple fire in the sky suddenly disappeared as if it had never appeared. However, there was not a single figure in the clear sky. That Bai Kuang had probably been burned to ashes. The peak of the spiritual immortal sect fell silent again. Those disciples didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Hun Jun and Su Sun stood rooted to the ground. Their eyes were filled with horror and fear. They were frightened by Qin Feng's power. A purple cloud of mortal fire had killed the supremacy at the peak of Stage 9. Qin Feng didn't even bother to look at the sky, as if he had done something insignificant. His cold voice sounded again. "What are the two of you still standing there for? Are you going to submit or be destroyed?" Qin Feng had asked this question not long ago, but everyone felt that he was too arrogant. Now that he said the same thing, no one dared to doubt him. At this moment, the two sect leaders who stood at the peak of the divine great land were dumbstruck like wooden chickens, like helpless children. They had long realized that Qin Feng was very powerful, but they realized that they had still underestimated his strength. A moment later, Hun Jun suddenly walked in front of Qin Feng and knelt on the ground. The moment he knelt, the crowd couldn't help but scream. Young hero Qin, it was the returning Net Realm's fault previously. I hope that young hero Qin can forgive us this time. Hun Jun began to admit defeat. This scene shocked Su Sun of the Empyrean Terminus sect. Qin Feng's expression was still indifferent, as if this was a matter of course. He looked up at Su Sun and waited for his decision. However, at this moment, Hun Jun leaped up. There was a flying sword hidden in his sleeve, and it stabbed towards Qin Feng's chest at lightning speed. A mere ant from the outside world wants to subdue me? Go to hell. It turned out that Hun Jun had pretended to submit. When he saw that Qin Feng had lost his guard, he suddenly made this move. The two of them were less than a meter away from each other. The flying sword disappeared in a flash. A playful smile appeared on Hun Jun's face, as if he could already see Qin Feng's tragic fate of being killed on the spot. Chapter 1488. Hun Jun was so excited that he wanted to shout. He knew that he was no match for Qin Feng, but he felt that Qin Feng was still too young and did not understand the craftiness of Jianghu. However, his smile suddenly froze on his face. Even his flying body froze in midair. The flying ship did not pierce through Qin Feng's body. Qin Feng casually sidestepped it and dodged it. However, a pink light shot out and pierced through Hun Jun's heart. Boom! A loud noise exploded in midair, and Hun Jun exploded like fireworks. The pink light flashed, and Qin Feng reached out and grabbed the cosmic flying sword in his hand. He seemed to be talking to himself. "Do you think you're the only one with a flying sword? You're asking for it." It was as though he had easily killed two Supremes at the peak of Stage 9 with just a wave of his hand. At this point, no one dared to doubt his strength. Young hero Qin, I admit my mistake. I kowtow and apologize to you." Empyrean Terminus sect leader Su Sun was already kneeling on the ground. Qin Feng said coldly, "Don't tell me you're thinking of assassinating me too?" Su Sun trembled in fear. He had thought of finding a chance to sneak an attack on Qin Feng. However, with Hun Jun as an example, he did not dare to have such thoughts anymore. Su Sun had completely woken up. Qin Feng was able to easily kill two Supremes at the peak of Stage 9. This was a sign that he had stepped into the immortal Qi realm. When he thought about how Qin Feng was a legendary immortal at such a young age, Su Sun wanted nothing more than to acknowledge him as his master. Qin Feng knew that Su Sun was truly afraid when he saw his terrified expression. He looked at the disciples gathered at the top of the mountain. Wherever his gaze landed, the disciples immediately knelt and kowtowed. "Young hero Qin, please spare our lives." We kowtow and apologize to young hero Qin. In an instant, the hundreds of Supremes gathered at the top of Celestial Soul's sect knelt and kowtowed. The spectacular scene stunned everyone from Celestial Soul's sect and Thousand Shadows sect. Qin Feng stood at the front of the crowd with a calm and composed expression. Ever since he stepped into the immortal Qi realm, his mindset had changed. When he looked at the Supremes at the True Energy realm, they were like a group of ants. Qin Feng didn't kill Su Sun. He still wanted to keep this guy alive to ask him about the immortal venerable plane. But at this moment, a playful laughter came from the distant sky. "Haha, I haven't seen you for a few days, but you are getting more and more powerful." The crowd was stunned. They couldn't figure out who would dare to challenge Qin Feng's dignity at this time. Before everyone could react, a white figure had already landed on the edge of the cliff. The person who came was dressed in a white robe, and his long hair fluttered in the wind. His body exuded an otherworldly aura, which was completely different from the auras of those true Chi venerables. Everyone was at a loss when they saw the newcomer. Clearly, no one could recognize him. Qin Fan's calm expression turned serious. It was Ling Jiutian. As expected, you deliberately lost to me in the battle at Devil Beast Mountain. Qin Fan could see the aura on Ling Jiutian at a glance, and it was no longer the effect of true Qi. Ling Jiutian ignored the hundreds of doubtful gazes and stared at Qin Fan with a smile. You're not stupid after all. I didn't nurture you for nothing. Your progress has surprised me and made me jealous. I can't let you continue to develop. Now it's time to harvest the fruits of your labor. No one could understand Ling Jiutian's words, and some even suspected that there was something wrong with his brain. Qin Fan could easily kill a true Qi stage 9 pinnacle true Qi venerables, and this person dared to say such arrogant words about harvesting Qin Fan. Qin Fan's heart was extremely heavy. He realized that he couldn't see through Ling Jiutian's realm. This person must have stepped into the immortal realm, and his realm could not be lower than his. What are you planning in the dark? Qin Fan asked coldly. Ling Jiutian smiled lightly, as if he didn't take Qin Fan seriously. It's not convenient to talk here. Come with me. I promise you won't be disappointed. As soon as he finished speaking, he seemed to disappear into thin air. The crowd exclaimed. Everyone finally realized how powerful Ling Jiutian was. When they came back to their senses, they found that Qin Fan had also disappeared. The two of them are flying in the sky. Qin Fan was riding the golden tornado wheel, and Ling Jiutian was riding a golden flying sword. Their speed was no slower than the golden tornado wheel. In just a few minutes, the two of them came to an open field far away from Celestial Soul's Gate. Ling Jiutian had already landed, and Qin Fan followed closely behind. Can you tell me now? Qin Fan was dozens of meters away from him, constantly on guard against his every move. Ling Jiutian smiled playfully. You look like you're afraid of me. Am I that scary? You want to know why I keep watching you? Don't think too much. I'm not just watching you. I'm watching everyone who has a system. Qin Fan knew that Ling Jiutian also had a system, but he didn't know what system he was. You're looking for system owners and then let them develop on their own. When the time is right, you'll devour their system to strengthen yourself. Qin Fan already had some understanding. Ling Jiutian looked at him with admiration. Qin Fan, you're indeed smart and powerful. You're the most outstanding system owner I've observed, second to none. Qin Fan ignored Ling Jiutian's praise and said coldly, Then who exactly are you? What do you have to do with the Astral Sect, one of the hidden five forces and the Spirit Beast sect of the Divine Land? Qin Fan had faced many opponents along the way, but Ling Jiutian was the only one he couldn't figure out. Ling Jiutian smiled and said, I created the Astral Sect and the Spirit Beast sect, but to the outside world, I'm just the astral puppet of those two sections. For example, you established the Celestial Soul sect, but others think you're just an ordinary disciple of the Celestial Soul sect. These two sects help me collect information about the system owners in the outside world and in the Divine Land. If necessary, I can suppress them so that they can develop quickly. By the way, I also established the Martial Art Alliance for the same purpose. Ling Jiutian began to confess many things, which made Qin Fan even more nervous. He felt a strong sense of danger. What else do you want to know before you die? Ask away. I'll tell you everything. Ling Jiutian said with a smile, as if Qin Fan was already a meal on his plate. What system do you have? Who are the big shots behind you? What is the secret of the system? Qin Fan's expression was solemn. These three questions of yours are really deep. I can only answer your first question. I have the King of Ambition system. As for the other two questions, you can ask Yama when you go to hell. Qin Fan realized that Ling Jiutian was about to make a move. He quickly said, King of Ambition system? You don't have the Sovereign Series system? Ling Jiutian smiled and said, I might as well tell you. There are two types of systems in the modern world. One is the Sovereign Series, and the other is the King Series. These two systems are opposites and are destined to devour each other. I know that the Hedonist sovereign system you have is the strongest system in the sovereign series. After devouring you, I will become extremely powerful." Ling Jiutian looked excited, like a hunter who had seen his prey. Qin Fen was amazed. So there was a king series system. However, at this moment, a gust of wind suddenly blew. Ling Jiutian's patience had run out, and he suddenly disappeared from the open space. Qin Fen immediately became very vigilant. The moment he looked up, a golden saber aura slashed down. Boom! The golden light landed on the ground and exploded a crack that was hundreds of meters long. Qin Fen stepped on the golden phoenix and flew into the sky. He casually slashed his saber down in the distance. Ling Jiutian was hovering in the air, holding a 3-meter-long golden rock slash in his hand. Facing Qin Fen's long saber, he had a playful look on his face. He casually raised his saber and dissipated the saber aura in the air. Boom! A loud sound exploded in the sky. It was as if the sky had been blasted open. Ling Jiutian raised his hand, and the golden rock slash in his hand disappeared. Qin Fen, you and I both have systems. This kind of martial arts battle is really boring. We can't compete with the strength of the system. As soon as he finished speaking, without waiting for Qin Fen's reply, a loud sound suddenly came from around him, and several black figures fell from the sky. 10 figures landed on the ground. They were dressed differently, all in ancient styles. As soon as these people jumped out, Pig Xiu's anxious voice sounded. "Master, these 10 people are the 10 great heroes of the ancient times. They are all very powerful. Master, be careful." Qin Fen understood. His hedonist sovereign system had the Hall of Heroes. Ling Jiutian's system probably also had a similar hero interface, and his heroes were all famous heroes in history. The 10 people had strong auras and looked at Qin Fen in the air. Qin Fen was not afraid. He flew over on the golden wheel and slashed down in the air. Rumble! The 100-meter-long saber aura suddenly exploded, and the 10 people turned into black shadows and dissipated. In the blink of an eye, 3 of them came around Qin Fen and launched different attacks. Violent true qi surged in the surroundings. The 10 people's realms were not bad. They were all above true qi stage 6, and a few had even stepped into the true 9 realm. But now that Qin Fen had stepped into the immortal qi stage, true qi stage opponents were not worth mentioning. Rumble! With a slap of his hand, the 3 heroes were reduced to ashes in the sea of fire. The smile on Ling Jiutian's face froze, and he shouted coldly, "Qin, I say, competition system, if you fight me again, I can kill you in a second." Qin Fen retreated dozens of meters away. He could not figure out Ling Jiutian, so he did not want to fight him head-on for the time being. Ling Jiutian's suggestion also piqued Qin Fen's interest. He really wanted to see how powerful the King of Heroes system was. Rumble! A loud sound exploded on Qin Fen's body. Suddenly, Golden Fur Lion King, the other heroes, and a few dire beasts appeared out of thin air. There were also 6 black mists spreading on the ground. It was Qin Fen activating the 5 Kings' Golden Ghost Talisman. Roar, roar! The 4 dire beasts roared and pounced. They were all demonic beasts comparable to the true 9 realm, and their roars alone were earth-shattering. Golden Fur Lion King and Duan Yu had stepped into the stage 8 True Qi stage, so they became support in the battle, attacking from behind the dire beasts. Qin Fen and Ling Jiutian stood on one side, watching the huge battle of the chase system. When Ling Jiutian's gaze fell on the blood fiend brown bear, his eyes flashed, and no one knew what he was thinking. Remember the website, Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 1489. The 4 ferocious beasts were so ferocious that they killed 2 heroes as soon as they charged forward. One of the opposing heroes shouted, "Don't fight the beasts head-on, kill those 2 men first." In an instant, the remaining 5 heroes charged towards Golden Fur, Lion King, and Duan Yu. The 5 of them launched an attack in the air with an earth-shattering momentum. Qin Fen watched anxiously from the side. The 5 heroes all had powerful auras, and a leading man was at the peak of True Qi level 9. Golden Fur Lion King and Duan Yu were beaten back. In just a few minutes, the two were already seriously injured. Boom! A loud sound exploded on the ground. The leading hero suddenly had 8 swords surrounding him. The 8 swords flew out at the same time, almost blasting Duan Yu and Golden Fur Lion King to pieces. The two were knocked to the ground by the aftershock of the sword chi. Seeing the 8 flying swords shooting over again, Qin Feng hurriedly recalled them back into the system. 6 streaks of black mist filled the air, but the 5 kings of the verdant sect were too weak and were instantly pierced through by the sword chi. The battle had only just begun. The number of people on Qin Feng's side continued to decrease, leaving only 4 ferocious beasts roaring on the ground. Ling Jiuqian's expression became more playful as he laughed. "Ha! You've only had the system for 2 years, and you've only come up with these despicable things?" Qin Feng was furious. How could the heroes he had be despicable? Golden Fur Lion King and Duan Yu were both experts at True Qi level 8. They were extremely powerful in both China and the secular world. However, facing Ling Jiuqian's king of ambition system, Qin Feng felt a little heavy. This person's system level had clearly surpassed his. Roar, roar. The battle on the ground continued. The 4 ferocious beasts madly charged towards the crowd. The 5 heroes formed a unique formation with the man, surrounded by flying swords as the leader. Swish! The man waved his hand, and the swords around him shot out. Each sword was extremely sharp, and when they struck the ferocious beasts, there was a loud sound like a train colliding. The 4 ferocious beasts were beaten into a mess. They chased one person at a time, and then another, but none of them were hurt. Qin Feng was filled with anxiety as he communicated with Xiaozhu. "What hero is the other side?" Xiaozhu said, "The one leading should be the king of Yu, Gojian. The 8 swords around him are the 8 swords of the king of Yu. As for the other 4, judging from their appearances, they are also formidable figures in the history of Huaxia." Qin Feng figured out the situation of these people. It seemed that Ling Jiuqian's king and ambition system had created them based on historical figures. Of the 5, Yu King Go Jian was the strongest, having already stepped into the peak of True 9. And the 8 flying swords around him were even more powerful, beating the 4 beasts to the point where they couldn't even hide. Whoosh! The sword flew up once more, and King Yu chanted, 8 swords. One of them is called Dark Sunday. Using it to point at the sun, the light will dim. The flying sword shot into the sky, and suddenly, dark clouds covered the sun, blocking out the sun's radiance. Following that, another sword flew out. The second name is Water Severing. Using it as a paddle, it won't work. The sword shot straight at the gigantic winged fire demon. As the sword fell, a crack appeared on the fire demon's hard fur. Whoosh! King Yu unleashed his 3rd strike, 3 soul reversing, using the moon-toed rabbit to reverse it. The sword gleam was cold, and the poisonous scorpion king scream could be heard. The poisonous stinger on its tail was easily cut off. Another flying sword rose into the sky. 4 hanging swords. Birds swam past, touched their blades, and will be cut. The sword shot straight at the 2-headed Wolfman King, splitting open a vacuum in the snowstorm and piercing the Wolfman King's thick arm. The 5th sword flew out, 5 awakening salamanders. Using it as a sea, the whale salamander goes deep. The flying sword pierced straight into the blood-fiend brown bear's right leg and actually pierced through its sturdy body, causing the blood-fiend brown bear to roar madly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the blink of an eye, King Yu sent out the remaining 3 embers. The awakening sword, soul destroyer sword, and true steel sword whistled through the sky like 3 heavenly swords descending from a sky. Rumble. Suddenly, the weather changed, and an earth-shattering explosion blasted the plains into a mess. In such a ferocious explosion, the 4 beasts would probably be smashed to pieces. But when the dust settled, the 4 beasts were nowhere to be seen. Haha! Admitting defeat so quickly? Did you recall the heroes and beasts back into the system? Ling Jiuqian's laughter could be heard. Qin Feng's eyes flickered with flames. With a thought, a loud roar of engines could be heard in the sky. 5 fighter jets whizzed past, and dozens of cannonballs fell from the sky. Rumble. The explosion of the cannonballs was even more ferocious than King Yu's 8 flying swords. The 5 heroes were stunned on the spot. Before they could regain their senses, 2 of them were blown to pieces. The other 3 hurriedly fled. The 5 fighter jets were all flying Tiger fighter jets in the Sovereign modification system. The tracking cannonballs were following behind the 3 of them. Seeing that the cannonballs were about to explode, King Yu suddenly stopped and roared. The 8 flying swords around him shot into the sky. Rumble. Dozens of cannonballs exploded in an instant. The flying swords were enveloped in flames and had long since exploded into pieces. Qin Feng was stunned. Isn't this King Yu's 8 swords too lousy? Xiao Zhu explained, Master, that's not the real King Yu's 8 swords. It's just a replica created by the King Ambition system. Seeing the 8 treasured swords being destroyed, King Yu roared angrily. He stopped running and leaped towards the flying tiger mech that was coming towards him from midair. King Yu slapped out with his hands, and numerous palm prints rose into the sky. He was, after all, an expert at the pinnacle of true Qi level 9. When his attack landed on the flying tiger fighter jets, one of them was destroyed. The other 2 heroes also started to counterattack. The combined attack of the 3 was astonishing. The flying tiger fighter jets seemed to be of a lower grade. The cannonball attacks were unable to destroy the 3 of them. Rumble. Another roar of engines could be heard from the sky. Qin Feng released a white eagle mech and a white phoenix mech with a slight shift in his thoughts. Compared to Star Technology's A-grade flying tiger fighter jet, the white eagle and white phoenix fighter jets were S-grade fighter jets, and the white phoenix fighter jet had reached the pinnacle of S-grade. When the 2 fighter jets fired their cannonballs in pursuit, the 3 heroes did not realize the danger. They thought that the 2 fighter jets were the same as the flying tiger fighter jets. They even took the initiative to meet them head-on, attempting to destroy the fighter jets one after another. For cannonballs fell like meteors. Their speed was double that of the flying tiger fighter jets. Before the 2 heroes could regain their senses, they had already been turned into ashes in the violent explosion. The loud noise had not subsided. Out of the 10 heroes, only King Yu was left. King Yu realized the power of these 2 fighter jets, especially that white phoenix fighter jet. It gave him a sense of death. Seeing the new cannonball explode on the ground around King Yu, he could not see his figure in the dust. Qin Feng realized that Ling Jiutian had recalled King Yu back into the system. This allowed him to finally vent his anger. Are you going to admit defeat? Qin Feng said coldly. Ling Jiutian's usual playful expression suddenly turned cold. He could not hide the anger in his eyes. You're thinking too much. This is just the beginning. Just as he finished speaking, 2 mecha suddenly landed behind him. Qin Feng was not unfamiliar with this type of mecha. Back when he was fighting with the Supreme Mecha system in the outside world near Neil's Nest in South Africa, young Master Hua was wearing a black dragon mecha. Rumble. The moment the 2 mecha appeared, they immediately flew into the sky and launched a fierce attack. In an instant, laser bullets and tracking missiles filled the sky, chasing after the 2 mecha. The White Eagle mecha and White Phoenix mecha had both activated automatic combat mode. When they realized that the enemy was stronger, they would switch from offense to defense. Qin, what other trump cards do you have? Show them. I'm very disappointed in your ability now. Seeing that he had gained the upper hand again, Ling Jiutian was proud once again. Qin Feng's expression was solemn. He realized that the 2 mecha were a level higher than the white feather mecha and the black dragon mecha. In a fit of anger, Qin Feng's thoughts were activated consecutively. In an instant, the surroundings were filled with loud noises. Rumble. On the vast plains, a mighty tank and a chariot suddenly appeared. In the sky, there were 2 more mecha, 1 black and 1 white. Qin Feng took out all the Black Dragon series equipment. At the same time, he released the white feather mecha and the black dragon mecha. This lineup was extremely strong. This was the first time Qin Feng had taken out so many trump cards. The Black Dragon tank's turret was already aimed at the sky, firing continuously. The anti-aircraft cannon on the top of the Black Dragon tank was ready. Every shot was like a muffled thunder. The sky seemed to be on the verge of exploding. Such ferocious artillery fire struck fear into the hearts of people. The two mechas that Ling Jiuqian took out were outnumbered. They were quickly shot down and turned into a pile of debris. Anger rose on his face again. His patience was completely exhausted. "Qin, I can't be bothered to play with you anymore. You should just die." Rumble. A golden blade light descended from the sky. Ling Jiuqian said that he wanted to compete with the system's strength, but now he said that he was going to attack. Qin Feng flashed away on his golden wheel. The ground he was standing on collapsed, forming a huge crater. As soon as he arrived in the sky, Qin Feng slashed out with his blade. Golden light shot out around him. Ling Jiuqian did not dodge. He held the golden rock slash and stepped on the golden flying sword. He casually slashed out and blocked Qin Feng's blade light in midair. The battle between two immortal Qi realm cultivators was so intense that it seemed like the sky was going to collapse. The people in the Spirit Immortal sect had not left yet. Everyone looked at the flashing and exploding sky in the distance. Their hearts were in turmoil. "Sisters, what should we do now?" The girls were anxious. They wanted nothing more than a fight with Qin Feng. However, everyone knew Ling Jiutian's identity. He was Qin Feng's greatest opponent. Even Qin Feng might not be able to defeat Ling Jiutian. They would only be a burden if they went. Don't worry, everyone. Young Hero Qin can even kill a cultivator at the peak of Qi Realm Stage 9. I believe that person is not young Hero Qin's match. Qing Chan was also very anxious, but she could only say words to comfort everyone and herself. The Empyrean Terminus sect leader, Su Sun, was stunned. He looked at the distant sky with mixed feelings. He had thought that he was already standing at the peak of martial arts in the Divine Continent. Only now did he realize how insignificant he was. "Please allow old Du to take a day off for the Dragon Boat Festival. I will stop writing tomorrow. I wish everyone a happy Dragon Boat Festival." Remember the website, Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 1490. After the battle, Qin Fen figured out Ling Jiutian's cultivation level. He was a Tier 3 Immortal Qi Venerable, the same level as Zhang Bing from Tai sect, whom he met on Immortal Island. Qin Fen had just stepped into the first stage of Immortal Qi, so he was no match for Ling Jiutian. "Brat, you really exceeded my expectations. You've actually stepped into the Immortal Qi realm. Looks like you've been to that place." Ling Jiutian had also figured out Qin Feng's realm. "What place are you talking about?" Qin Feng asked in a low voice. Ling Jiutian stood less than 10 meters away from him, a look of contempt on his face. "You're going to die anyway, what's there to hide? Since you're able to step into the Immortal Qi state, you've naturally been to the Immortal Island. That crimson brown bear of yours is also a fiend beast of the Immortal Island." Qin Fen had always wondered if the immortal venerable plane that people in the land of gods were talking about was the Immortal Island. Now that he heard Ling Jiutian mention it, he felt that this was most likely the case. Because of this, Qin Fen had many questions in his heart regarding the origin of the system, the Immortal Island, the secret behind Ling Jiutian, and so on. But before he could think any further, a violent wave of immortal qi surged towards him. Ling Jiutian appeared in front of him in a single leap. The seemingly light palm sent Qin Feng flying to the ground. Rumble. The movement caused by that palm was not small. It was as if he had smashed a small mountain. Qin Feng coughed up a few mouthfuls of blood the moment he fell to the ground. Golden light radiated from his body. Under Ling Jiutian's palm strike, the Paragon skill art of Vajra was activated. Ling Jiutian was taken aback. He probably did not expect Qin Feng to survive that palm strike. He stared at the golden light on Qin Feng's body. The golden light was changing. The original golden light was turning silver at a speed visible to the naked eye. Qin Feng's body seemed to become transparent, and the blood flowing through his veins became pure silver. Master, the Vajra esoteric technique has leveled up. It has now broken through to the second level. Master has a silver blood true body. Little Pig's voice rang out. Although the Vajra esoteric technique had leveled up, Little Pig couldn't feel any joy from it. Qin Feng's expression was solemn. The Vajra esoteric art had a total of 9 levels. With the first level of the invincible golden body, one's physical body would be invincible in the inner chi realm, and it would be impossible to kill. The second level of the silver blood true body had completely transformed his meridians and blood vessels, allowing him to step into the realm of immortality within the true chi stage. Even though Qin Feng had broken through to the silver blood true body, it was useless against Ling Jiutian, who was at immortal chi realm level 3. Ling Jiutian had regained his composure and regained his contemptuous look. Your defensive technique is not bad, but it's a pity that your level is too low. It's nothing in my eyes. As soon as he finished speaking, his expression suddenly turned cold, and he slammed his palm forward. A violent gale suddenly arose. The berserk immortal energy surged like an ocean. Qin Feng had no time to hesitate. He opened his eyes and shot out 2 beams of purple fire. At the same time, he struck out with his palm. Suddenly, the weather changed, and a violent snowstorm swept up around him, blocking Ling Jiutian's vision. The purple dusk immortal fire soared into the sky, lighting up half the sky. However, Ling Jiutian was no longer there. He had somehow appeared behind Qin Feng. When the palm strike landed, it immediately scattered the snow in front of Qin Feng. Ling Jiutian struck out several more times, and cracks appeared in the snowstorm behind Qin Feng. A loud sound exploded in the snowstorm. Qin Feng's back was hit by the palm strike, and he spat out a mouthful of blood while still flying through the air. Ling Jiutian did not give him a chance to catch his breath. He came over on his golden flying sword and struck out with his palm strike again. Seeing the golden palm imprints whizzing over, Qin Feng roared, "Arrows come!" A purple light streaked across like a meteor, and the next moment, Qin Feng drew the skyhawk bow in his hand. As soon as the cloud-piercing arrow was released, it brought with it a loud sound. The flying arrow was incomparably sharp, as if it had entered an unstoppable realm. Even a golden palm print was instantly pierced through. Seeing that the cloud-piercing arrow was about to hit Ling Jiutian, he hovered in the air without dodging. Instead, he casually grabbed the air, and the lightning-fast arrow actually landed in his hand. This scene was unbelievable to Qin Feng. What an outstanding arrow. Even I don't have such an arrow. Ling Jiutian stared at the cloud-piercing arrow in his hand as if he had found a treasure. He looked at it for a while and suddenly threw the arrow out. The cloud-piercing arrow immediately pierced through the sky and shot towards Qin Feng like a bullet. I'll let you die under your own flying arrow. It's interesting to think about it. Boom! At the critical moment, Qin Feng urged his thoughts. The cloud-piercing arrow instantly changed direction and fell into the flat ground, piercing a huge hole as if it had shot into the earth's core. Qin Feng realized that even the cloud-piercing arrow could not kill Ling Jiutian. He was at a loss for strategy. The difference in cultivation level between the two of them was too great. It was easier said than done to kill Ling Jiutian. Ling Jiutian saw through his thoughts and came over with a look of contempt. Qin Feng, you really disappoint me. Killing you is like killing an ant. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, a loud sound exploded in the sky. Ling Jiutian's expression suddenly turned cold. He realized that Qin Feng had disappeared. On the immortal island, Qin Feng leaned against the fire demon tree covered in blood. The beasts and heroes immediately surrounded him. Qin Feng grabbed a healing pill and poured it into his mouth. After his qi and blood had calmed down a little, he asked, "Little Pig, does the system have a way to kill Ling Jiutian?" Ling Jiutian was Qin Feng's current #1 enemy. This time, he had to kill Ling Jiutian no matter what. Little Pig ran out of the system and was lying on Qin Feng's shoulder with a worried look. Ling Jiutian's king and ambition system is very powerful. Moreover, his character level in the system is higher than Master's. There are many ways to kill him, but Master's current hedonist points are obviously insufficient. Qin Feng had devoured the sovereign transformation system not long ago, and had 1 million hedonist points left. He did not expect that it was still not enough to kill Ling Jiutian. It was clear that Ling Jiutian was extremely powerful. Just when Qin Fan was feeling a little disappointed, Little Pig suddenly became excited. Master, I just calculated. Since you obtained the Hedonist Sovereign System, you have spent a total of 9,635,000 hedonist points. As long as Master spends another 365,000 hedonist points, you can become a rank 8 hedonist mortal. When that time comes, the system will give you many generous rewards. You can also open the Star Beast interface for free to help Master defeat Ling Jiutian. Qin Fan was stunned. He did not realize that he was about to spend 10 million hedonist points without realizing it. Thinking about it, it was really fast. He hurriedly looked through the system's inventory. Items that cost around 400,000 hedonist points were no longer of much use to Qin Fan. If he bought them, the hedonist points would be wasted. After some thought, Qin Fan decided to use hedonist points to upgrade the Hero Alliance. This was the most reasonable way to spend hedonist points. Now that he had upgraded the Hero Alliance to a Gold Alliance, he had opened the function of the space-time portal. As long as he spent 300,000 hedonist points, he could upgrade it to a Platinum Alliance. With a slight thought from Qin Fan, 300,000 hedonist points immediately disappeared. A dragon's roar and Phoenix's cry rang out in his mind. The Golden Hero Alliance suddenly grew a few meters tall, and the Golden Hero Alliance became Platinum. Master, the Platinum Alliance has a new function of sharing and completing quests. Little Pig took the initiative to explain. The sharing function allows people who have joined the Hero Leaderboard to use the system's resources. For example, they can cultivate the cultivation methods and martial skills that Master has bought. They can also take away the medicinal pills and other items that the system has bought. As for completing quests together, everyone can help Master complete quests together. The two new functions of the Platinum Alliance were great, but Qin Fan did not have time to study them now. He was worried that Ling Jiutian would run away if he stayed on the Immortal Island for too long. Qin Fan moved his mind and spent another 65,000 hedonist points to buy some medicinal ingredients. So far, he had spent a total of 10 million hedonist points in the Hedonist Sovereign System. Ding! Congratulations, host Qin Fan. You have spent a total of 10 million hedonist points to become a rank 8 hedonist mortal. The system has activated the Star Beast interface for free. You are rewarded with an intermediate hero draw scroll from the Hero Palace. The system's notification sounded. Qin Fan was excited. He immediately looked at the Star Beast interface. After reading the introduction, Qin Fan was dumbfounded. The Star Beast interface was similar to the Hero Palace. Heroes could be bought in the Hero Palace, but the Star Beast interface sold all kinds of beasts. However, the beasts here were different. They were super beasts from another planet. Little Pig, where did the sovereign system come from? It even has beasts from another planet? Qin Fan was more curious about the system. Little Pig looked at the purple lightning above its head and said helplessly, Master, your hedonist level is too low, so Little Pig can't tell you. Or Master can spend 100 million hedonist points to unlock the system's secret. Qin Fan rolled his eyes. He did not have 100 million hedonist points. He had asked Little Pig about the system's origin a long time ago, but he still could not get an answer. Qin Fan simply put these questions aside. His priority now was to kill Ling Jiutian. He had let him escape on Devil Beast Mountain in the outside world, so he could not let him escape again. After entering the Star Beast interface, a vast sea of stars greeted him. However, when Qin Fan looked at the pictures in the sky, he realized that it was not like the sky on Earth. It seemed to be a sky map of another planet. Qin Fan could not care less. He asked, Little Pig, do I have to spend money to buy these Star Beasts? Isn't the price a bit too expensive? Qin Fan casually glanced at the interface. The cheapest Star Beast cost 500,000 hedonist points. Master, you just opened the Star Beast interface, so the system rewarded you with a free chance to draw a Star Beast. Qin Fan's mind moved slightly, and the vast sky suddenly rumbled with thunder. The wind and clouds changed, as if the stars in the sky were rotating. A huge sound rang out, and a meteor streaked across the sky. The speck of light was heading straight for Qin Feng. As the black speck approached, it grew larger and larger. Finally, with a loud boom, it landed on the empty ground in front of Qin Feng, blasting a huge crater into the ground. After the dust settled, Qin Feng saw the situation clearly. There was a gigantic beast standing in the crater. The beast had a strange appearance, and its skin was dark as if it was made of rocks. It was comparable to the alien monster that Ultraman fought. Qin Feng was dumbfounded. The beast suddenly cried out excitedly. Its cry was very strange, and he could not understand it at all. Chapter 1491. Master, it says it's called Asla. It's a level, 1-star beast, Little Pig suddenly said. Qin Feng looked at Little Pig in surprise. You can even understand the alien language? Little Pig put on its Sundara attitude and raised its little head. Pfft, I'm the soul of the system, a cute pig with unparalleled intelligence. As long as it's a product of the system, I can understand it. Naturally, I'm proficient in the language as well. Qin Feng felt that Little Pig's current behavior was asking for a beating, but there was nothing he could do. Qin Feng was still waiting for Little Pig to translate for him. What's a level 1-star beast? Qin Feng asked. Master, star beasts are categorized into level 1 to level 9. Level 1 is the lowest and level 9 is the highest. Qin Feng was suddenly a little disappointed. Then isn't Asla the lowest star beast? How strong can it be? Little Pig twitched its mouth. Master, you underestimate the power of star beasts. Although Asla is only a level 1-star beast, its combat power is comparable to a level 4 immortal. Qin Feng gasped at this. The lowest star beast was comparable to a level 4 immortal? Then how strong would a level 9-star beast be? And which planet did this star beast come from? If those aliens discovered Earth, wouldn't it be the end of Earth? Qin Feng's mind was filled with all kinds of doubts. Little Pig rolled its eyes. Master, don't think so far ahead. Let's solve the problem at hand first. Qin Feng suddenly came to his senses. He had to kill Ling Jiuqian as soon as possible. After learning about the Star Beast world, he immediately entered the Palace of Heroes. Not long ago, when he became a level 8 mortal hedonist, the system rewarded him with an intermediate hero draw ticket. Qin Feng was puzzled. Little Pig, the heroes in the Palace of Heroes are categorized? Little Pig said, Of course. The heroes in the Palace of Heroes are primary, intermediate, advanced, super, and supreme. The heroes that Master drew before were all primary heroes. Qin Feng was stunned. Golden-haired Lion King and Duan Yu were also primary heroes? He realized that he had underestimated the Palace of Heroes. Little Pig could read Qin Feng's mind and continued. Master, the primary category of heroes is below the Immortal Qi realm, and the intermediate category is between the Immortal Qi realm and the Saint King realm. As for the latter category, Master has yet to come into contact with them. Qin Feng was confused. He realized that Little Pig was talking about realms above the Immortal Qi realm. Those realms were too far away from his current strength. Qin Feng collected his thoughts and started to draw an intermediate hero. With a thought, one of the stars in the night sky suddenly shone brightly and turned into a meteor as it flew over. Giant demon cannon Huang Zhong greets Master. An old man knelt on one knee in front of Qin Feng. He had a head full of gray hair, and his eyes were filled with majesty. He was wearing clothes made of beast skin and beast bones, and he was wearing beast boots. The most spectacular thing was the cool-looking cannon in his right hand. Just looking at it made people feel a chill down their spines. Huang Zhong, please get up. Qin Feng helped him up, then looked at the cannon and said, Is this your weapon? How powerful is it? Without saying a word, Huang Zhong fired a cannon at the void behind him. Instantly, flames shot into the sky, illuminating a large part of the night. The deafening sound lasted for a long time, and Qin Feng was speechless. Wow, this cannon is even more powerful than my wind and cloud-mad demon cannon, Qin Feng exclaimed. Little Pig laughed and said, It's not just more powerful than Master's mad demon cannon. That cannon's power is comparable to the White Phoenix mech's homing cannon. The White Phoenix mech was the pinnacle of Star Technology's S-grade mech. Its homing cannon could kill a Stage 1 immortal venerable. It seemed that Huang Zhong's combat power was not to be underestimated. As if reading Qin Feng's mind, Huang Zhong took the initiative and said, "Master, with the cannon in my hands, I'm comparable to a stage for immortal venerable." Qin Feng's eyes lit up, and he looked to Huang Zhong as if he was looking at a treasure in the desert. Now that he had Asla and Huang Zhong, his combat power had skyrocketed. Thinking of Ling Jiuqian outside, Qin Feng's mouth curled into a cold smile. With a thought, Qin Feng had already exited the system and directly arrived in China. He landed in the void where he had disappeared, and all around him was the ruins of a great battle. Ling Jiuqian was no longer there, but a black shadow shot over from afar, and it came to Qin Feng's side in a few breaths. "Oomph. Let's see where you can hide today, kid." Ling Jiuqian found Qin Feng again, his eyes full of contempt. He had never taken Qin Feng seriously. Whether it was the system or his own martial arts realm, Ling Jiuqian had nothing to fear. When Qin Feng appeared again, it was as if he had changed into a different person. He landed on an empty space and said with an indifferent expression, "Ling Jiuqian, I'll ask you one last time before you die. Who else is behind you? And where did this system come from?" Ling Jiuqian's golden rock slash stopped abruptly, and he forgot to bring it down. He looked at Qin Feng, who was on the ground, amused. He did not know where this kid got his confidence from to say such arrogant words. "I said, you can ask the king of hell these questions when you go to hell." Kaboom! The slash finally landed, and a loud noise was heard. However, Qin Feng stood still with his hands behind his back, as if he did not see the fast-approaching blade aura. The smile on Ling Jiuqian's face disappeared. Seeing that Qin Feng was about to be cut in half, he had a bad feeling in his heart. Qin Feng's calmness was too unusual. This was not the behavior of a dying man. Roar! Before Ling Jiuqian could figure it out, a strange roar suddenly sounded. A huge monster that looked like a dinosaur landed in front of Qin Feng. Its hind legs were on the ground, and its front legs were in the air. It also had a long tail that was swinging in the air. The golden blade aura landed on the behemoth's body, but after a loud noise, only a few shallow marks were left on Asla's body. There was not even a trace of blood. When Ling Jiuqian landed, he was stunned and looked at Asla in disbelief. He did not know where this monster came from. You have the astral behemoth?" Soon, Ling Jiuqian's expression changed. Qin Feng said in a deep voice, "Not only do I have the astral behemoth, but I also have a hero that can destroy you." Kaboom! As soon as his voice fell, there was a loud explosion. Huang Zhong seemed to have stepped into the sky with a cannon, and when he landed, he fired at Ling Jiuqian. A fire dragon whizzed out, and the loud noise was earth-shattering. Ling Jiuqian's eyes widened, and when he came back to his senses, he quickly dodged. His reaction was still a beat too slow, and the aftermath of the cannon sent him flying into the air. Many sparks landed on his body, and his clothes were burned clean. Ling Jiuqian was flying through the air naked. Even he could not believe what he was seeing. Kaboom! Another loud explosion rang out. Huang Zhong fired the second cannon into the sky. A fireball shot into the sky like a cannonball and hit Ling Jiuqian. The fire instantly exploded, and the sky was set ablaze. Ling Jiuqian was at the center of the explosion, and he did not know what had happened to him. "Asla, go take a look." Qin Feng was still a little worried. Ling Jiuqian was too cunning, and he had the system. Who knew if he was really dead? Asla suddenly flapped the wings on its back and flew into the sky like a fighter jet. It directly dived into the fire, and its hard fur was not afraid of the fire at all. Roar! Soon, Asla's strange cry came from the fire, and Little Pig immediately translated, "Master, Asla said there's nothing in the fire, and that guy has most likely been turned into ashes." Qin Feng did not expect Ling Jiuqian to really be killed, and he had some doubts in his heart. After all, this opponent had been secretly fighting with him for too long. Little Pig continued, "Master, I can no longer sense the existence of the system nearby. It seems that the king of ambition's system has disappeared, and that Ling Jiuqian is indeed dead. Qin Feng finally heaved a sigh of relief, but he soon felt that it was a pity. He originally wanted to kill Ling Jiuqian and then devour his king of ambition system, but he did not expect Huang Zhong to directly blow him up with a cannon and even destroy the system. Ling Jiuqian's death made Qin Feng feel a little emotional. This guy had fought with him countless times, and he even controlled the capture of his mother. Qin Feng suddenly realized that Ling Jiuqian might very well know where his mother was, but now that he was dead, there was nothing he could ask. When Qin Feng swaggered back to the mountaintop of Celestial Soul's Gate, the group of Holy Gate disciples had not left. The moment everyone saw him, their eyes were filled with awe and fear. They had been guessing who would win the battle between Qin Feng and Ling Jiuqian. Now that Qin Feng had returned alive, everything was proven. From this moment onwards, Qin Feng's name resounded throughout the land of China. He suddenly appeared like a god of war, and with one move, he could kill a true Qi Stage 9 powerhouse. He also had countless technological products from the outside world, and not long ago, he killed the Lei family in the Fire Beacon City Science and Technology Museum. Qin Feng was now immortal in everyone's eyes. At a young age, he stood at the peak of the martial way of China, and his strength far surpassed the previous 5 sect masters of China. Qin Feng, are you all right? Sob. It's good that you're back. We were so worried. The girls rushed to his side, and all of them expressed their concern for him. Qin Feng pulled all 9 women into his embrace. Everyone was envious when they saw this scene. After this battle, Qin Feng's horizons had been broadened a lot. He realized that the Immortal Island was the celestial venerable realm that people in China had heard of, and it was very likely the only celestial venerable realm. In addition, he also learned of the existence of star beasts, which meant the existence of creatures from other planets. Qin Feng did not say these things, as he was afraid that it would scare everyone to death. Qin Feng knew that his current level was still too low. If he wanted to protect the women and friends around him, he had to continue to speed up his breakthrough. This huge battle in China ended, and the power structure of China was completely changed. At this point, there were no more 5 supremes in China, and only the strongest sovereign sect, Celestial Soul's Gate, was left. However, the Thousand Shadows sect used Qin Feng's name to greatly increase their power, and became the #1 sect in China, second only to the Celestial Soul's Gate. Chapter 1492. Several months had passed since that pinnacle battle in China. The intense and spectacular battle was still etched in every disciple's mind as if it was only yesterday. Qin Feng had been cultivating on Immortal Island for the past 3 months. He'd used up the remaining 3 Immortal Cloud Pills and was now at the peak of Immortal Qi Stage 2. In just 3 months, the situation of the Divine Great Land had completely changed. Many of the great sects had fallen or even disappeared. However, many sacred sects had sprung up like bamboo shoots after a rain. Qin Feng didn't suppress the development of the sacred sects. He didn't care about these true Qi Stage cultivation sects anymore. It was fine as long as they willingly submitted to Spirit Immortal. Qin Feng, China's situation is completely stabilized now. When are we going back? Su Ruoro and the other girls surrounded Qin Feng every day. They've been in China for more than 3 months. They missed life in China's secular world very much. Qin Feng had wanted to go back a long time ago. Seeing that everything in China was almost settled, he made a decision. It's time to go back and take a look. You guys go prepare. We'll leave in half an hour. The girls cheered. Suddenly, Qiao Shi said, "Wait. The formation connecting China to the outside world only loosens once every 20 years. How are we going back?" The girls were so homesick that they lost their minds. As soon as Qiao Shi's words left her mouth, the excited beauties' faces turned sour. It's over. We can only go back in 20 years. How old will I be by then? Do the other sisters in Hero City still recognize me? Hua Yin frowned. The communication function of Hero Alliance can't be used now. We're in China and can't even talk to our sisters and family. Ren Xian pouted. Sob phone, what should we do? If we're really going to stay here for 20 years, I'll have to give you a child now. Otherwise, how am I going to survive these 20 years? The girls looked at Qin Fen eagerly. Qin Fen wanted to laugh. He pulled the girls into his arms and said softly, Don't worry, I have a way to go back. The girls exclaimed, Really? You have a way to take us back now? Qin Fen's face was full of certainty, but he didn't say what his method was. The girls trusted him very much, so they immediately went to pack their luggage and prepared to return to the secular world of China. Actually, Qin Fen could have returned to the Chinese secular world a long time ago. After he devoured Lei Wanzhong's sovereign modification system, he discovered that the fellow had modified a shuttle. According to the system's introduction, the shuttle could withstand the impact of the formation that led to the immortal venerable realm. As for the formation that led to the Huaxia secular world from China, it was even more so. After obtaining the shuttle, Qin Fen figured out why Lei Wanzhong could get his hands on so many technological products from the outside world. It was because he could travel between China and the outside world at any time. In the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed since Qin Fen left the secular world of China. This period of time was neither long nor short, but in this half a year, the outside world had undergone tremendous changes. Qin Fen's deeds and legends gradually faded, and the families and forces related to him were greatly suppressed. A new martial supremacy had appeared in the outside world. He only took half a year to conquer the land of China. Director Han, you're dressed so beautifully today. Let's have dinner together tonight. In Acropolis City's Royal Group's president's office, Han Ying wore a professional black silk uniform. Her curvaceous, round, and voluptuous figure made people itch for action. Her slender legs and slender waist made people want to conquer her. However, at this moment, her expression was cold. She looked at the man sitting across from her with disgust and said, Gao Hu, I've already said many times that I have no interest in you. Also, don't forget that I'm Qin Fen's woman. You even dare to have ideas about me? Are you tired of living? Han Ying had always been strong, cold, and arrogant. In her life, she could only be conquered by Qin Fen. She couldn't be bothered to look at other men. Speaking of Gao Hu, he was the eldest grandson of the Gao family, one of the 4 major families of Acropolis City. Later, because he wanted to hit on Lu Wenjing, he was beaten up by Qin Fen at Acropolis City's Normal University. Later, Qin Fen pressured the Gao family, causing the 4 major families to fall into a star that couldn't be shown in public. However, no one expected that the Gao family would develop rapidly in the past half a year. Now, Gao dared to brazenly flirt with Han Ying. Hearing the name Qin Fen, Gao Hu's eyes shot out flames. At this moment, he was sitting in a wheelchair, and this was all thanks to Qin Fen. Back then, Qin Fen had crippled Gao Hu's leg with 1 foot. Don't mention that Xing with the surname Qin to me. Right now, the situation in China has changed greatly. It's already the era of Taoist Gu. I heard that Qin Fen rashly ran to the extinction sect and has long since died there. I advise you to obediently listen to me. Our Gao family is the future top family in China. Han Ying's expression became colder. Gao Hu's words touched her reverse scale. However, Gao Hu wasn't the only one who said these words. Now, all of China was wildly saying that Qin Fen had already died in the extinction sect. Han Ying was a strong woman, but her eyes became moist. No matter how strong her opponents were in business or how difficult life was, she would grit her teeth and endure it. However, after learning that Qin Fen might have died, this strong woman could no longer hold on. She felt as if her world had collapsed and her faith had disappeared. Director Han, can't you give me a straightforward answer? Are you going to accept my love or not? Gao was a bit impatient and his voice became cold. Today, I'll make things clear. Right now, any power related to Qin Fen has been suppressed by Taoist Gu, and your royal group is Taoist Gu's #1 target. If it wasn't for our Gao family protecting you, do you think you would still be well to this day? Now, make your choice. Either be good to me, or I won't be polite to your royal group. Gao had pursued Han Ying for more than a month, but to no avail. Now, he decided to shed all pretense of cordiality and use forceful methods. Han Ying immediately frowned. Royal Group had several thousand employees working under her. If it really collapsed, those people would lose their jobs. More importantly, Royal Group was a group that Qin Fun and his son had single-handedly created. If it was destroyed in her hands, she would die of guilt. Okay, I agree to have dinner with you. After a moment, Han Ying had no choice but to temporarily compromise. She didn't really want to be good to Gao Hu. She just wanted to buy some time for Royal Group. Although other people said that Qin Fun was dead, Han Ying didn't want to believe it. Qin Fun had brought too many surprises to the sisters. Han Ying believed that this time he wouldn't disappoint them. Seeing that Han Ying had agreed, Gao Hu was so excited that he wanted to jump. However, he found that his legs were broken. How could he jump? For a moment, Gao Hu started to curse Qin Fun in his heart. It was all because of Qin Fun that he was forced to travel in a wheelchair. Gao Hu secretly glanced at Han Ying's full breasts and straight legs. He thought to himself that he would fiercely satisfy this woman tonight as punishment for Qin Fun. The two left one after the other and arrived at the Royal Hotel. This was originally a 5-star hotel under the Royal Group, but it was now taken over by Gao Hu's family. In a banquet hall on the 8th floor, Gao Hu had already booked the entire table. Delicious food and wine were already laid out on the table. However, only Gao Hu and Han Ying were eating in such a luxurious and imposing manner. He plus chief, sit wherever you want. Make it your own home. After Gao Hu entered the room, he revealed a smile. From his perspective, Han Ying was destined to be unable to escape tonight. Han Ying felt suffocated. This was originally her company, but now it was the property of the Gao family. Chief Gao, I came to eat with you tonight because I want to talk about some things. Han Ying sat on a chair under the floor-to-ceiling window. She was too lazy to waste words with Gao Hu and went straight to the point. Gao Hu's gaze was fixed on Han Ying's breast the entire time. He had a vulgar expression on his face. He wanted nothing more than a pounce on this sexy and enchanting woman right now. However, since Han Ying was here, he wasn't in a hurry. Oh, what does Chief Han want to talk about? It's best if we don't talk about work. Tonight, let's talk about the matters between a man and a woman. As Gao Hu spoke, he threw a coquettish glance. Han Ying was so disgusted that she almost vomited. Chief Gao, I want to cooperate with the Gao family and take back the property of the Royal Hotel, Han Ying said straightforwardly. Gao Hu stared blankly. When he came back to his senses, he laughed loudly. Ha, Chief, are you joking with me? This Royal Hotel is practically a money-printing machine. How could the Gao family give it back to you? As he spoke, Gao Hu laughed evilly. However, I have an idea. Chief Gao, if you submit to me tonight and become my woman in the future, then wouldn't this hotel be yours? Han Ying suppressed her anger and said coldly, Gao Hu, I advise you not to take things too far. If Qin Feng suddenly returns one day, you'll have a way out for yourself. Gao Hu's smile became sinister. He couldn't bear to hear Qin Feng's name. Whenever this person was mentioned, he would go crazy. Do you think Qin Feng could still be alive? Even if he did come back alive, the world has already changed. That Taoist goo came out of seclusion less than half a year ago and completely reshuffled all the powers in China. Now, even the dragon sect fears Taoist goo. I believe that he will personally destroy Qin Feng. Han Ying came tonight to persuade the Gao family to cooperate with her. However, it seemed that it was impossible now. Since this was the case, there was no need for Han Ying to stay. She stood up and was about to leave. Before she walked out, Gao Hu pushed his wheelchair and blocked her way. Chief Han, you haven't even eaten yet, and you're leaving? Gao Hu laughed coldly. Han Ying suppressed her anger and said, I'm not hungry. I'll go back first. How could Gao Hu let Han Ying leave? He laughed and said, It's fine if you don't eat, but we still have to have sex. Do you really think your elder invited you to eat? You're such a smart woman. You should obediently submit to your elder. Remember the website. Samuel website. Chapter 1493. Han Ying's expression was cold. She was an arrogant and powerful woman, and she was usually as high and mighty as an empress. After following Qin Feng, no one dared to offend her, not to mention Gao, whose filthy words. Gao, I'm warning you. Watch your mouth. You want to woo me with that cowardly look of yours? Dream on. Han Ying was completely enraged and didn't give Gao Hu any face. Gao Hu's expression turned cold, and he was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. However, he quickly regained his composure. He even smirked at Han Ying and said, "Good, very good. The more powerful you are, the more I like you. Only conquering a thorny rose like you will give me pleasure. Since you don't know what's good for you, don't blame me for being impolite." Han Ying's patience ran out, and she suddenly stomped on Gao Hu's face. Although she usually took care of Qin Feng's businesses as her main responsibility, Han Ying still cultivated a little. She was now a stage 5 inner qi, which was more than enough to deal with trash like Gao Hu. The shadow of a leg swept over, bringing with it a fragrant wind. Gao Hu couldn't run, even if he wanted to in his wheelchair. However, he had no intention of dodging. He still had a fearless smile on his face, as if he had a trump card. Swoosh! Just as Han Ying was puzzled, 4 black shadows shot in from outside the door. The 4 were extremely fast, and one of them already stood in front of Gao Hu to block him. The other 3 people were still fighting. Gao Hu leisurely leaned on his wheelchair as if nothing had happened. He even had a bodyguard light a cigarette for him and smoked while enjoying the fight. Director Han, do you think I'm stupid? How could a person in a wheelchair not have bodyguards by his side? I advise you to obediently follow me. Why bother? Gao Hu's voice could be heard from time to time. Han Ying was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She wanted nothing more than to rush up and kick Gao Hu's head, but the 3 bodyguards were very skilled. In a short while, they had forced her into a corner. You traitors, hurry up and scram. Han Ying felt that she couldn't hold on any longer and roared angrily. It turned out that Han Ying knew the 3 bodyguards. They were all martial artists from Hero City of Acropolis City. When Qin Feng was famous in China, these martial artists bowed their heads and served him. Now that Qin Feng had disappeared without a trace, they immediately sought refuge with someone else. Bitch, what are you yelling for? Do you believe that I won't cut your pretty face? Does he still think that China is Qin Feng's world? You're lucky you're still alive. The 3 of them had long since betrayed Qin Feng, so how could they have the slightest bit of self-awareness? After being reprimanded by Han Ying, they became angry and their attitudes were even worse than Han Ying's. For a moment, Han Ying felt like a lamb had entered the mouth of a tiger. A feeling of despair seeped out from the bottom of her heart. She had always been unwilling to admit that Qin Feng had died in the extinction gate. However, in the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed, and Qin Feng had yet to return. Even Su Ruo and the other 8 women, who had entered the extinction gate later, had yet to be heard from. Bitch, come here. After fighting for a while, one of the men saw an opportunity and reached out to grab Bao Ying from behind. A vulgar smile appeared on the man's face. Han Ying's body was hot and sexy. If he hugged her, it would feel so good. Whoosh! However, there was a sudden burst of fire. There was even a faint whistle of the wind. However, the commotion was too small and was completely covered by the sounds of the fierce fight. The man's arm had already reached the edge of Han Ying's clothes. Just as he was about to hug her, his expression suddenly changed, and he instinctively looked at his empty arms. He was so shocked that his eyeballs fell to the ground. Why was his arm gone? Where's my arm? The man cried out in shock. The other 2 men were about to pounce on Han Ying and take advantage of her, but they were frightened by their companion's sudden actions. Zhao Bang, are you stupid? Of course your arm is on you. The 2 of them looked at Zhao Bang with disdain. However, when their gazes fell on his arm, they were so scared that they almost fell. Zhao Bang, where's your arm? Holy shit! Can you not scare people? Hurry and get your arm out. His 2 companions were scared to death. Zhao Bang finally felt the sharp pain from his broken arm, and he screamed like a wild beast. The smell of blood suddenly wafted through the room. The three bodyguards and Gao Hu realized that something was wrong. Zhao Bang had already fainted from the pain and fell to the ground. Blood flowed like a river from his body. Who? Who did this? Gao Hu was so frightened that he screamed. He looked around the room a few times, but he didn't see anyone. The three bodyguards' legs trembled uncontrollably. As martial artists from the outer world, they already realized that the person hiding in the dark was powerful and wasn't someone they could deal with. Even Han Ying was frightened by this bloody scene. However, she quickly came to her senses. Her cold, beautiful eyes flashed. She had seen a scene like this before. That was the result of Qin Feng's anger. Qin Feng, is that you? Are you back? Han Ying was so excited that her entire body trembled. At this moment, she shed the strong facade of a queen. She was like a helpless child being held. The room was silent, and no one answered. Once Gao Hu and the three bodyguards heard the name Qin Feng, they trembled in fear. Qin Feng disappeared for half a year and was even rumored to have died. However, his ferocity and strength were still deeply engraved in everyone's hearts. How could it be so easy to forget? After a while, there was still no sound in the room. Gao Hu let out a sigh of relief. He felt that he was too nervous. Qin Feng definitely died in the extinction sect. Even if he didn't die, he would be destroyed by Daoist goo if he dared to return to the secular world of China. What are you guys still standing there for? Did this woman scare you like this with one lie? Hurry up and tie her up. Gao Hu roared angrily. The three bodyguards suddenly came to their senses. They braced themselves and pounced at Han Ying again. Halfway there, the flame suddenly appeared. This time, everyone saw it clearly. The three bodyguards, in particular, saw the flame streak across their legs. Then, they fell head first to the ground. Ow, ow! Instantly, the room was filled with the screams of three people like pigs being slaughtered. Gao Hu was so scared that he fell off his wheelchair. The three bodyguards' legs were cut off at the knees, and the floor was covered in bright red blood. At this moment, Gao Hu was truly afraid. He knew that someone was hiding in the dark, and that person's methods were exactly the same as Qin Feng's. Sob sob. Feng, I know you're back. Come out now, I really need you. Han Ying couldn't hold it in anymore and burst into tears. If the thousands of employees of the royal group saw this scene, they would definitely be blinded by shock. A gust of wind blew past. By the time Han Ying realized that someone was standing next to her, she was already tightly embraced by the other person. The man was strong and broad-minded. His scent was so familiar that Han Ying instantly softened in his warm embrace. Qin Feng was not the only one who came. Su Ruoro, the 9 women, and Hua Xiu were also standing in the room. Gao Hu's eyes were dazzled when he looked at the group of beauties. However, he was not in the mood to appreciate the beauties. When he saw Qin Feng standing in white, he was so scared that his heart almost jumped out of his chest. Qin Feng, why you're not dead? Gao Hu sat on the floor and asked with a trembling voice. Before Qin Feng could answer, Zhang Cuckoo angrily jumped out and stepped on Gao Hu's broken leg. Who did you say died? If you dare to curse big brother Qin Feng again, I'll break both of your hands. After Zhang Cuckoo drank the ancient giant beast gene fluid, she had no control over her strength. Her foot even cracked the floorboards. Gao Hu screamed in pain and almost fainted. Han Ying felt like she was dreaming. Not only did Qin Feng, whom she longed for day and night, return, but even her good sisters returned. Big Sister Ying, are you all right? The women surrounded her. Han Ying was a woman who had seen great storms and waves. She quickly calmed down. I am fine. I'm relieved to see my sisters and Qin Feng return safely. Han Ying noticed there was an unfamiliar face in the crowd. That woman had outstanding beauty and was delicate and refined. She stood at the side cautiously and peeked at the decorations in the room as if it was her first time seeing them. Qin Feng pulled Hua Xiu over and introduced, This is Granny Xing, Pocket Jin, whom I subdued in the Divine Land. This is your big sister Ying. Hua Xiu immediately greeted Han Ying. After Han Ying understood the situation, she also acted close to Hua Xiao. By the way, Ying, why are you eating with scum like Gao Hu? Qin Feng had just returned from the Divine Land, so he was not familiar with the situation here. He brought the women to the royal group to look for Han Ying and wanted to give her a surprise. However, he heard from the staff that she came to the royal hotel. Han Ying immediately felt wronged and said, Qin Feng, you've been gone for more than half a year. The situation in China has changed drastically. Suddenly, a spiritual master Gu appeared and swept away the outer martial arts world and the inner hidden sections. He even defeated Senior Dragon God. Even the 12 peaks of the Dragon Gate couldn't do anything to him. Many people started to rely on that spiritual master Gu. His influence grew stronger and stronger. Now, he has replaced you as the pinnacle of China's martial arts world. There are even rumors that you've died. Han Ying did not continue. She could not bring herself to say the word died. Moreover, she did not believe in those rumors from the beginning. Qin Feng and the women were shocked when they learned about the current situation in China. They did not expect so many things to happen in the outside world in just half a year. Spiritual Master Gu? Who's he think he is? Qin Feng's eyes were spitting fire. If that bullshit spiritual Master Gu was standing in front of him, Qin Feng would definitely kill him. Zhang Kuku was still stomping on Gao Hu. Gao Hu felt as if he was going to lose his life. When he heard Qin Feng and the others talking about spiritual Master Gu, he hastily said, You bitch, you'd better start writing now. Now that the Gao family has submitted to spiritual Master Gu, I'll summon him to kill you. Zhang Kuku was stunned. She forgot to continue stomping on Gao Hu. Gao Hu thought that she was frightened. Just when he was feeling pleased with himself, Zhang Kuku stepped on his face. Remember the website, Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 1494. Damn, it's been a long time since someone dared to threaten me. Zhang Kuku. Hurry up and threaten me a few more times. It's so satisfying to hear. Gao Hu's eyes rolled back, but the depression in his heart made him forget about the pain in his body. He had never seen a woman as perverted as Zhang Kuku. Seeing that Gao Hu was about to be stomped to death, Qin Feng pulled Kuku back. He didn't care about Gao Hu's life, but he had some questions to ask this guy. If I remember correctly, you're Xing Zi of the Gao family? Qin Feng looked at Gao Hu indifferently. He didn't expect this guy to have designs on Han Ying. Gao Hu was scared to death the moment he saw Qin Feng. However, he still pretended to be calm and shouted, Qin Feng, you're done for. Now, Taoist Gu has come from Huaxia. He's very powerful. He can kill you in minutes. Our Gao family has already surrendered to Taoist Gu. If you know what's good for you, you better let us go immediately. Gao Huai yelled for a long time. Qin Feng slapped him in the face and almost smacked his head off. I'll answer whatever you ask. Why do you have so much nonsense? An unfamiliar but powerful aura emitted from Qin Feng's body, pressuring Gao Hu into fear. Who is this Taoist you're talking about? Where did he come from? Qin Feng asked. Although Gao Hu was unhappy, he had to answer honestly. Taoist Gu is the great elder of the Absolute sect who came out of seclusion. Rumor has it that he has stepped into stage 7 Qi realm. No one in the entire Huaxia is his match. Even the Dragon God and the Dragon Sect's 12 peaks can't do anything to him. Gao Hu purposely described Taoist Gu as extremely powerful to indirectly intimidate Qin Feng. Of course, Qin Feng knew what this guy was thinking. However, he found it funny. He could kill a group of people at stage 7 Qi realm with one slap. Seeing that Qin Feng didn't speak, Gao Hu thought he was really scared. His expression immediately became arrogant. Qin, you've been away from Huaxia for more than half a year. Most of your power has been taken away by Taoist Gu. Now, Huaxia is Taoist Gu's world. If you want to live, obediently surrender to Taoist Gu. Let me go first and become my follower. I can let bygones be bygones and put in a good word for you in front of Taoist Gu. Gao Hu started chattering again. He made Taoist Gu sound so powerful, which made Han Ying very worried. However, Su Ruoro and the other women were all smiling as they looked at Gao, who, as if they were looking at an idiot. Now that Qin Fun had stepped into the second stage of the immortal Qi realm, he was a man who stood at the peak of the divine continent. In front of Qin Fun, a mere true Qi cultivator was like a baby. That's a pretty good suggestion. Qin Fun pursed his lips and nodded. Gao Hu immediately became excited. He thought that Qin Fun was really afraid of Taoist Gu, but before he could say anything, Qin Fun casually threw a fire blade at him, and Gao Hu's head fell to the ground. However, I have an even better way. Just kill that dog fart Taoist Gu, and everything will be over. Gao Hu couldn't hear Qin Feng's words. He couldn't be more dead. The room was filled with the smell of blood, and Han Ying couldn't stand it. However, Su Ruoro and the other women stood at the side as if nothing had happened. 3 months ago, they saw Qin Fun fight the elite disciples of the Divine Continent sects. Compared to the savagery of that battle, the scene in front of them was much more elegant. Big Sister Ying, sit down and rest. Now that Qin Fun is back, the trouble here will be easily resolved. Su Ruoro helped Han Ying to sit at the side. The women weren't worried about Qin Fun's current strength. Han Ying avoided the bloodstains on the ground. Seeing this, Qin Fun casually sent out a few fireballs. Moments later, the bloodstains, Gao Hu, and the other 4 people disappeared as if they were never there. After cleaning up the battlefield, Qin Fun sat next to Han Ying as if nothing had happened. He didn't think that so many things would happen in China after he left for half a year. Ying, is what Gao Hu said true? Qin Fun asked softly. Han Ying calmed down a bit and said with a serious expression, Qin Fun, ever since you left, that Taoist Gu started to suppress the factions related to you. Now he has subdued the Martial Artist Alliance, and many sects in the outer martial world and inner hidden sects have submitted to him. Also, many wealthy families in the capital and some rich families in Acropolis City have submitted to him. Qin Fun and the women were shocked when they heard this. Was Taoist Gu that powerful? In just half a year, he had completely reshuffled the factions in China. The fire in Qin Fun's heart burned even more intensely. He wanted to immediately kill Taoist Gu. Hero City has also fallen? What about the Dragon Sect? Qin Fun asked worriedly. Han Ying's expression suddenly became resolute. Don't worry, Acropolis City and the outer martial world's Hero City are still holding on. Unless we sisters are no longer in this world, we definitely won't submit to Taoist Gu. That's right, the Rin family's Holy Medic Hall, the Yin family's Divine Armament Hall, the Inner Hidden Sect Serenity, Ice Lake Mountain, the capital's Lu family, and the Dongfang family are all holding on. Qin Fun felt slightly comforted. He didn't feel good when he found out that many of the factions that followed him had submitted to him. However, he was satisfied when he found out that the important factions were still on his side. Suddenly, he looked at the pitch-black night outside the window. His eyes shone with a deep flame, and a cold voice rang in his heart. Whoever dares to offend me, Qin Fun, will regret it no matter who you are. Big brother Qin Fun, should we go and kill that bastard now? Zhang Kuku was eager to give it a try. Han Ying said worriedly, Qin Fun, that Taoist Gu seems to be really powerful. Even the Dragon God and the 12 peaks of the Dragon Sect are no match for him. I'm afraid of you. Han Ying did not continue, but everyone understood what she meant. Su Ruoro said with a relaxed expression, Big Sister Ying, don't worry. Qin Fun is very powerful now. No one in China's secular world is a match for him. The other women nodded. They were completely confident in Qin Fun's strength. However, Han Ying was still a little worried. After all, she did not go to China. She did not see the spectacular scene of Qin Fun defeating the elites of China with her own eyes. Seeing that Han Ying was frowning, Qin Fun was not in a hurry to look for Taoist Gu. He had just brought everyone back, and it was a good opportunity for them to relax tonight. Xiao, this is the outside world. How does it feel? Qin Fun suddenly looked at Hua Xiao. Han Ying was a little confused. She did not understand the situation in China at all. Hua Xiao was already dumbfounded. On the way here, she was shocked by the speeding cars on the street. Now that she saw the magnificent decorations in the house, she felt like it was a palace in heaven. Young Master Qin, the outside world is very exciting, Hua Xiu said shyly. She could not express the shock in her heart. She was afraid that her sisters would despise and laugh at her. Qin Fan said with a smile, Xiu, not bad. You've just arrived in the outside world, and you're already singing the lyrics. Hua Xiu did not understand what Qin Fan meant. She had never heard the song The Outside World. She was just sighing with emotion. The women were amused by her cute and shy look and could not help but claw at her. Hua Xiu became even more shy. Her pretty face was about to drip water. Han Ying was completely confused. She realized that after Su Ruo and the others came back from China, there was a generation gap in everyone's topics. Big sister Ying, you really want to know what China is like, right? Hua Yin said with a smile. Han Ying nodded repeatedly. China is just like in ancient times. The means of transportation, there are horses. There are no internet or communication devices. There is not even electricity. They rely on fire to illuminate their surroundings. At the mention of China, everyone became spirited. Ren Xian added, not only that, there are no police there. They still maintain the ancient Yamen system. That's right. The hot water for bathing there is thrown into the well tank by sun-warmed stones. Xiao Shi muttered. There are also very few cosmetics there. They're all rouge and foundation from ancient times. The women chatted enthusiastically. Han Ying felt as if she had transmigrated. She looked at everyone in disbelief. She even suspected that these people teamed up to lie to her. However, looking at their serious expressions, it did not seem like they were lying. Qin Fan, is it really like that in the Invincible sect? Han Ying's eyes lit up. She really wanted to go and see. It's like that. Why would we lie to you? Qin Fan said with a smile. It's true. Gee, you must take me there when you have the chance. Han Ying was excited. She even forgot about her recent troubles. Hua Xiu was depressed. She felt that the outside world was too good. The light bulbs were as bright as day. The houses they lived in were so tall that they reached the clouds. They did not even need to walk when they went out. She could not understand why Big Sister Ying would want to go to China. That night, the women gathered together and chatted about China. Han Ying listened with great interest. She wanted to go there immediately to take a look. They talked until the wee hours of the morning. Everyone was overcome with sleepiness, so they stayed in the royal hotel. The women were very perceptive. They gave Qin Fan to Han Ying. They went to a presidential suite together. The moment Hua Xiu walked into the room, she was almost scared to death by the luxury inside. In another suite, Qin Fan stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window with a wine glass in hand. He looked down at the scenery of Orchid City. This was the land where he grew up, and every scene brought back many of his memories. Qin Fan, do you want to bathe? Han Ying's voice came from behind him. Qin Fan turned around. She was wearing a thin, white muslin dress. Under the dim light, her arrogant figure was faintly discernible. Han Ying had already walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. Qin Fan hugged her in his arms and blew hot air into her ear. What if I don't want to bathe? Han Ying felt as if she had been electrocuted. Her fair neck instantly turned red. She had missed Qin Fan every moment of the past half a year. Now that Qin Fan was finally back, the fire in Han Ying's heart exploded. She suddenly pushed Qin Fan away. She faced the floor-to-ceiling window and placed her hands on the glass. She bent down and turned her back to Qin Fan. Then I'll punish you with no rest tonight. Looking at the pair of long legs under her dress, Qin Fan's evil fire burned. A battle that would last through the night began. Remember the website, Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 1495. Qin Fan is back. They came with dignity and glory. The land of Huaxia had been in a deep slumber for half a year because of his departure. From this moment on, a storm was about to be set off. In a large private courtyard in Acropolis City, the Gao family was eating breakfast together. This mansion was the Gao family's new residence. It was developed by a large real estate company under Royal Group. However, that real estate company had been bought by the Gao family, so this mansion naturally became the Gao family's territory. Old Master, Our Gao family has followed the right person this time. Ever since we submitted to perfected Gu, the Gao family situation has changed overnight. At the dining table, everyone from the Gao family was beaming. Gao, whose father smiled and said, "Second brother is right. Our Gao family was originally one of Acropolis City's unranked families. Who would have thought that after following Taoist Gu, we would become the #1 family in Acropolis City? As long as we continue to follow Taoist Gu, we'll become one of the top families in Huaxia sooner or later." Everyone nodded in agreement with the words of the Gao family's eldest son and second son. Old Master Gao sat at the head of the long table, unable to conceal his pleased expression. He was the one who had seized the opportunity and led the Gao clan to seek refuge with Taoist Gu. However, at this moment, someone suddenly said, "We dominated Acropolis City and took away many of the Qin family's businesses. If Qin Feng comes back, there won't be any problems, right?" As soon as these words came out, the originally cheerful atmosphere immediately froze. A few of them glared coldly at the man who spoke, scaring him into immediately shutting his mouth. Elder Gao said, "Isn't it just Xing whose surname is Qin? What is there to be afraid of? Right now, rumors in Huaxia are spreading like wildfire that he died in the forbidden sect. Are you still afraid that he will turn into a ghost and haunt you?" Second brother Gao immediately echoed. "Besides, even if Na Xing is still alive, we have Taoist Gu to back us up. Why should we be afraid of him? Perfected Gu has defeated the Divine Dragon and the 12 peaks of the Dragon Gate. He is already at the pinnacle of martial arts in China." At the mention of Taoist Gu, everyone from the Gao family felt a surge of confidence. Everyone knew that Qin Feng was very powerful, but they felt that Taoist Gu was even more powerful. After that incident, no one dared to casually mention Qin Feng's name. Halfway through the meal, Gao Long suddenly frowned and said, "Huh? Where's my Fei? Why didn't you come for breakfast?" Gao, whose father looked around and confirmed that his son wasn't here. Second brother Gao said, "I haven't seen Gao Hu since last night. Did he go somewhere to play?" The Gao family knew Gao Hu very well. Na Xing was always idling around and having fun. It was normal for him to not return for a few days and nights. Gao Long didn't think too much about it and continued to eat. But at this moment, an indifferent voice came from outside the door. "Gao Hu won't appear again because I've burned him to ashes." Voila! The people who were eating immediately burst into an uproar. They looked out of the door in anger. The Gao family had advanced by leaps and bounds and was now the #1 family in Acropolis City. They were famous even in the capital. The Gao family couldn't figure out who would dare to cause trouble for them at this time. However, when the crowd's gazes landed on the young man in white standing at the door, their eyes and jaws dropped to the ground. "He's Qin Feng." Someone finally came back to his senses. Instantly, dozens of Gao family members at the dining table stood up in unison and looked at Qin Feng as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Why did you come back? Didn't you die in the extinction sect?" "Qin, I advise you not to act recklessly. China has changed a long time ago. It's no longer your era." The crowd came back to their senses. They realized that Qin Feng was really back. However, when they thought about Taoist Gu's support, they quickly became arrogant. Qin Feng came alone. He even asked the women to take Huaxiu shopping. Qin Feng alone was enough to deal with trash like Taoist Gu and a bunch of ants who betrayed him. "Don't worry. After I destroy the Gao family, I'll go find Taoist Gu and kill him myself." Qin Feng stood in front of the Gao family's main residence like a heavy mountain. His voice was indifferent, as if he was talking about something insignificant. The Gao family members were enraged. Second brother Gao jumped out and shouted, "You're young and ignorant. Do you think Taoist Gu is easy to defeat? He has already challenged the Dragon God and the 12 upper peaks. Those people couldn't even take one move from him. When Taoist Gu finds out that you're back, it'll be your death day." Qin Feng laughed inwardly. Even in China, no one dared to say such arrogant words to him. He waved his hand, and a flame flashed. It was so fast that no one in the Gao family saw what happened. After a while, a few screams came from the crowd. "Second brother is gone? Gao Fei, are you crazy? Your second brother is gone. No, it's second brother Gao Hai who's dead. More and more people noticed the abnormality. Second brother Gao was shouting at Qin Feng just a second ago. Now he was lying in a pool of blood. What was more terrifying was that his head was separated from his body. It was a cruel death. The room was filled with the smell of blood. The Gao family members gulped. No one dared to stand up and shout. Qin Feng did not even look at Gao Hai. He said indifferently, I, Qin Feng, have spared your Gao family once, but you still dared to betray me. You have only yourself to blame for the destruction of the Gao family. He seemed to be talking to the Gao family, but it also seemed like he was talking to himself. The Gao family members suddenly had an ominous premonition. Before they could react, a flame seemed to fall from the sky and engulf them. There were explosions everywhere, and the screams of the people were heard. Qin Feng stood in front of the Gao family's main residence, as if nothing had happened. The purple dusk, immortal fire burned for a few minutes, and everything returned to normal. The Gao family members were nowhere to be seen. There was not even a trace of blood or residue on the ground. The Gao family, which had just risen to power, was destroyed in a matter of minutes. Qin Feng brushed his sleeves and left. His schedule was full today. In Acropolis City alone, there were more than 10 families that he had to visit. In just one afternoon, a shocking news spread through the streets of Acropolis City. Qin Feng had returned. Not only had he returned, but he had also suppressed the families that had betrayed him. The Gao family of Acropolis City was destroyed. The Zhou family closed their doors. The Nail Guards and the Fong family's old residents all fled. The Chiron Corporation closed down. The boss of Shuofeng Steel Corporation died mysteriously. The executives of Xianxing Real Estate fled with their money. These people were the representatives of the royal group. Now that Qin Feng had returned, they were all in trouble. Such a huge move had alarmed some of the rich and powerful families in Beijing. For a moment, the rich and powerful of China's upper class were like birds startled by the mere twang of a bow. Many of them sent more bodyguards, and some even bought plane tickets to hide abroad. Qin Feng had only caused a ruckus in the Acropolis City, but his fame had caused everyone to tremble with fear. This was his prestige in China. Even though he hadn't appeared in the world for half a year, he had returned to the peak of China. A large group of people came to the Dongfang family's old residence in Beijing. These people had fiery red chests and carried firecrackers and betrothal gifts. It was a scene of jubilation. The man walking at the front of the group wore a red groom's robe and a tall red hat. He was handsome and had a playful and disrespectful smile on his face. Elder Dongfang, hurry and call Qing Shui out. I've asked an expert to calculate. Today is an auspicious day. I'm here to marry Qing Shui. The courtyard of the Dongfang family, which used to be one of the 4 big families in Beijing, was deserted. Dongfang Mingwang was the only one standing in the empty courtyard. His white hair fluttered in the wind, and his expression was grave. He seemed to have aged a lot. He glared at the man and yelled, Yang Can, are you crazy? Qing Shui and Qin Feng are already engaged. You're Qin Feng's little brother. How dare you come to marry your sister-in-law? The Dongfang family was not what it used to be. Because Dongfang Mingwang had always been on Qin Feng's side, they had always been suppressed by Taoist Gu. Yang Can and Lu Shu had previously pledged their allegiance to Qin Feng, so their families were doing well in Beijing. Although the Yang family had fallen from being one of the 4 big families, they were still among the first-rate families. However, the situation had changed. The Yang family pledged their allegiance to Taoist Gu and returned to being one of the 4 big families. The Yang family was growing stronger day by day, and they no longer cared about the Dongfang family. Hearing Qin Feng's name, Yang Can's eyes were spitting fire. Who does Qin Feng think he is? Does he really think I'm willing to be his little brother? He suppressed the Yang family to the point where we became a lowly family. Now, I finally have a chance to turn things around. I'm here to take revenge. Who said I can't marry Qing Shui? I'm going to make her my woman, so that Qin Feng won't be able to rest in peace even if he becomes a ghost. Yang Can suddenly smirked. He was deliberately taking revenge on Qin Feng. Dongfang Ming Wang was so angry that his eyes rolled. He wanted to slap the bastard Yang Can to death. However, Dongfang Ming Wang couldn't help but worry when he thought that Qin Xing had Daoist Gu as her backer. In fact, he had fought with Daoist Gu before. He couldn't even take one move from him. You should go back. Qin Shui isn't in Beijing. She's already gone abroad. Dongfang Ming Wang made up an excuse. Yankin was not stupid. He laughed and said, "Stupid old man, do you think I'll believe your nonsense? I advise you to be sensible and hand over Qin Shui. It'll be good for everyone. Moreover, Daoist Gu is in power in China now. If I marry Qin Shui, your Dongfang family will also benefit from the Yang family in the future." Dongfang Ming Wang was full of disdain for Yang Can's fallacy. His expression turned cold as he said, "Yang Jiaxuan, yesterday there was news from Acropolis City that Qin Feng has returned. I advise you to restrain yourself. Otherwise, you won't even know how you die." The smile on Yang Can's face suddenly disappeared. He had been beaten up badly by Qin Feng in the past, so he was still very afraid of Qin Feng. However, when he thought that he now had Daoist Gu's support, he immediately regained his confidence. You believe G-type rumors? In the past 6 months, there have been more than 10 rumors of Qin Feng's return. Which one of them was true? Moreover, so what if he really came back? Do you think he could defeat Daoist Master Gu? Yang Can yelled in a righteous manner. Remember the website, Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 1496. Dongfang Ming Wang was enraged, but he did not vent his anger. Just as Yang Can said, Huaxiao was no longer Qin Feng's world. "Stinky old man, I don't have the patience to waste my time with you. I'll give you half a minute to consider. If you don't hand over Qin Shui, I'll have someone tear down your Dongfang court." Yang Can had exhausted his patience. His words almost made Dongfang Ming Wang faint. The Dongfang court was a reward given to him by the Dragon Sect when he was conferred the title of Marquis. It was not as simple as a piece of land. It was a place of honor and dignity. Yet now, a junior like Yang Can was actually trampling on his dignity. He was truly boundlessly arrogant. "Stinky brat, if you dare to step into the inner room of the Dongfang court today, I'll make sure you die a horrible death." Dongfang Ming Wang glared at Qin Feng as inner qi surged out of his body. He was one of the 9 dragons and an expert at the peak of stage 9 inner qi. He was a powerful existence in the secular world of China. Yang could jump back in fright, but he quickly sneered. He clapped his hands, and a middle-aged man jumped out from behind him. The man was dressed strangely. He wore a long robe and had long hair. He looked like someone from ancient times. "Ha! Damn old man. Do you think I'm afraid of you with your puny skills? Senior Gu Yun is perfected Gu's disciple. He can send you flying with one hand." Yang Can had retreated behind Gu Yun. The man was dressed in a long black robe. He stood in front of Dongfang Ming Wang with his hands behind his back. He looked indifferent and somewhat disgusted. Dongfang Ming Wang's expression turned serious. Although they had not exchanged blows, he could feel a powerful yet unfamiliar aura from his opponent. This aura was similar to Qin Feng's. It was obvious that his opponent was an expert who had stepped into the true energy realm. "Old man, I advise you to listen to young Master Yang's orders. Otherwise, I won't go easy on you," Gu Yun said disdainfully. He did not take Dongfang Ming Wang seriously at all. "You want to take Qin Shui away? You'll have to do it over my dead body." Dongfang Ming Wang admitted that he was not Gu Yun's match, but he was still unyielding. Yang Can revealed a ruthless expression and nodded at Gu Yun. Gu Yun walked towards Dongfang Ming Wang as if nothing had happened. When the two of them were still 5 meters apart, Gu Yun moved like lightning. His speed was so fast that Dongfang Ming Wang could not react in time. Rumble. There was a loud explosion. A deathly aura enveloped Dongfang Ming Wang. Dongfang Ming Wang thought that he was going to die, but after a while, he opened his eyes and realized that Gu Yun's right arm had disappeared. Gu Yun's heart-wrenching screams came from the courtyard. Yang Can still hadn't figured out the situation. Wasn't Senior Gu Yun teaching Dongfang Ming Wang a lesson? Why was he screaming? But when he saw the reality in front of him, he was so scared that he almost fell to the ground. A bloody arm fell to the ground beside Dongfang Ming Wang's feet. It was Gu Yun's arm. "Senior Gu Yun, are you all right?" Yankin was at a loss of what to do. He suddenly roared at Dongfang Ming Wang. "Smelly old man, how dare you attack Senior Gu Yun? He's a disciple of Taoist Gu. Aren't you afraid that Taoist Gu will come and kill you?" Dongfang Ming Wang was woken up by Yang Can's shout. How could Gu Yun's arm be chopped off by him? He was puzzled in his heart. Who did this? "Yang Can, you're so impressive now." A cold voice suddenly rang out, startling the three of them. Gu Yun was a true Qi Stage 5 expert. He quickly stopped the blood from flowing out his arm. But when he looked around, he didn't see anyone else in the courtyard. The atmosphere started to become strange. Yang Can stood rooted to the ground, not knowing what to do. Dongfang Ming Wang secretly stared at Gu Yun. He was thinking if he should take advantage of Gu Yun's injury to fight to the death with him. The three of them had different thoughts. But before they could make a decision, a gust of wind suddenly blew in the courtyard, directly blocking their vision. The gust came and went quickly. When the three of them opened their eyes again, they were shocked. "Qin Feng, it's really you." Dongfang Ming Wang looked at the white-robed youth beside him in disbelief. He felt like he was dreaming. The moment Yang Can saw Qin Feng, he was so scared that he directly fell to the ground. He was previously suppressed by Qin Feng. If he didn't hear the news of Qin Feng's death, he wouldn't dare to betray him. But now, he discovered that the rumors were false. Qin Feng was clearly alive and well. "You," Yang Can pointed at Qin Feng with eyes full of fear. He couldn't say a complete sentence for a long time. "What's wrong? You don't recognize me after not seeing me for half a year?" Qin Feng smiled as if Yang Can was his old friend. You actually didn't die. Senior Gu Yun, quickly kill him. He is Qin Feng, the previous pinnacle of China's martial Tao." Yang Can anxiously shouted at Gu Yun. Gu Yun was startled. He didn't expect Qin Feng to return. "Who are you?" Qin Feng already looked at Gu Yun. This guy was at the 5th stage of true Qi, which surprised Qin Feng. "The one with the surname Qin. I am a disciple of the ancient sword sect. This time, I followed Great Elder Gu Tatian out of the mountains and stayed in China. If you know what's good for you, you should obediently submit to Elder Gu Tatian. Then you can keep your worthless life." Gu Yun quickly regained his senses. After knowing Qin Feng's identity, he wasn't afraid and even had an arrogant attitude. Of course, Qin Feng knew about the ancient sword sect. It was a large sect in the Divine Continent. Its power was only below the 5 supremes of the Divine Continent. However, when Qin Feng entered the extreme Frost City, he killed the sect master of the ancient sword sect, Gu Yijian. The Divine Continent no longer had this sect. After listening to Gu Yun's words, Qin Feng understood. No wonder Taoist Gu could dominate China's martial Tao forces in half a year. That person was the great elder of the Divine Continent. Naturally, no one in China's secular world was his match. So, it's an ant from the ancient sword sect. You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Qin Feng said with an indifferent expression. Gu Yun was startled and sneered. "Heh, you said that my ancient sword sect doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth? I think you are the ignorant one. The ancient sword sect is a major sect in the Divine Continent. How can a brat like you casually comment on it?" As a disciple of the Divine Continent's sacred sect, Gu Yun didn't put Qin Feng in his eyes at all. If he had seen the battle between Qin Feng and the Divine Continent's 3 supremes 3 months ago, he probably wouldn't have said that. After Qin Feng understood the situation, he couldn't be bothered to talk nonsense with Gu Yun. He casually raised his hand, and a purple flame shot out. The flame was as fast as lightning. Gu Yun didn't even realize the danger and was already buried in the sea of fire. Rumble. The flames soared to the sky and couldn't be extinguished in a short period of time. Dongfang Ming Wang and Yang Can were stunned on the spot. Even now, they still couldn't figure out what was going on. Seeing that Gu Yun was completely annihilated, Qin Feng came to Dongfang Ming Wang's side as if nothing had happened. "Elder Dongfang, this junior came late. I'll let you suffer." Qin Feng stood at the peak of the Divine Continent, and viewed true Qi stage powerhouses as ants. However, he didn't change in front of his elders, relatives, and friends. He was still the same Qin Feng from before. Dongfang Ming Wang suddenly woke up. He looked at the empty space and then looked at Qin Feng. He really didn't dare to accept this reality. Qin Feng, that person was killed by you? Dongfang Ming Wang was astonished. Qin Feng shrugged and said casually, he was just an ant. I killed him a long time ago. Dongfang Ming Wang was instantly speechless. He realized that Qin Feng had become even stronger after disappearing for half a year. When he stood in front of Qin Feng, he even had a sacred feeling as if he was looking up at a god. A true Qi stage 5 powerhouse died, just like that. Not even a corpse could be found. Yang Kan's heart was already trembling. His whole body was shaking, and he suddenly regretted betraying Qin Feng. Qin Feng. No, young Master Qin, why are you back? Why didn't you tell this little brother before you came back? This little brother could have welcomed you back. Yang Kan's expression changed faster than flipping a book, causing Dongfang Ming Wang to look down on him. Qin Feng sneered and walked toward him with large strides. Yang Kan, how dare you? You even dare to peep at my woman. Yang Kan was so scared that he didn't even have the strength to stand up. At this moment, he was lying on the ground like a wild dog. Do not come near me. I, the Yang family, has already submitted to Taoist Gu. If you dare to touch a single hair on my head, Taoist Gu definitely won't let you off. He still wanted to use Taoist Gu's name to threaten Qin Feng, but he was welcomed with a sea of fire. Under the purple dusk immortal fire, Yang Kan didn't even have time to struggle. In the blink of an eye, he was burned to ashes. The Dongfang court regained its desolation. There were no traces of blood on the ground. It was as if Yang Kan and Gu Yun had never been here. Dongfang Ming Wang was still in a daze. An inexplicable sense of reverence welled up in his heart. The current Qin Feng was completely unfathomable to him. Elder Dongfang, is Qing Shui doing well? Qin Feng walked over with a friendly smile. Qing Shui is fine. She's in her room. I'll call her out now. Dongfang Ming Wang was about to call her when Qin Feng stopped him. Don't call Qing Shui for now. I still have to deal with the other ants. That's right, Elder Dongfang, where's the dragon god now? Qin Feng had wiped out the rebel forces in Acropolis City yesterday. Today, he came to the capital city to clean up the trash here. Dongfang Ming Wang sighed and said, sigh. Senior dragon god is under house arrest in the Martial Art Alliance. Qin Feng remembered that when he left Huaxia, the dragon god had already stepped into stage 2 of vital energy. After 3 months with the dragon god's sovereign peace system, breaking through to stage 4 of vital energy would not be a problem. With such a realm, he could be considered top-notch in Huaxia's secular world. How could he be captured? Who dares to capture him? Is it that spiritual Master Gu? Qin Feng asked. Isn't it him? Speaking of spiritual Master Gu, Dongfang Ming Wang had a bellyful of bitterness. Qin Feng, you've been gone for more than half a year. Great changes have taken place in Huaxia's martial arts forces. That spiritual Master Gu seems to have appeared out of nowhere and defeated all the martial arts forces in Huaxia. He even captured the dragon god to prove his authority. Dongfang Ming Wang told Qin Feng all the major events that had happened recently. After listening to him, Qin Feng was enraged. A mere great elder of the ancient sword sect dared to behave atrociously in Huaxia's secular world. He even suppressed his family and friends. Qin Feng was going to make him regret it. Dear reader, you can search for Blue Book Bar to find this site immediately. Chapter 1497. Qin Feng was not in a hurry to see Dong Fang Qing Shui. Instead, he took advantage of the night to deal with those traitors. The Yang family's old residence was brightly lit. Many relatives were gathered in the conference room for a meeting. Now that the Yang family had soared under Taoist Gu's leadership, the entire Yang family was in a joyous mood. The Yang family's elder, who was sitting at the head of the conference table, was talking loudly, imagining the Yang family's future development and glory. Both sides of the long table were filled with people. All of them were in high spirits and were imagining the glory that the elder had described. However, at this moment, the conference room's door was kicked open. Everyone in the room jumped up in fright. Which servant dares to barge into the conference room? Yang Kan's father, Yang Fei, was the first to jump out with a furious expression. Many of the Yang family members looked toward the door with cold expressions after coming back to their senses. This conference room was the Yang family's secret area. Only direct relatives could enter. Who would have thought that someone would dare to kick open the door? A young man in white stood at the door. His head was slightly lowered, and his face could not be seen clearly. The young man's cold voice sounded, "The Yang family will be destroyed tonight. Are you still dreaming about the future?" Everyone in the room was stunned. They could not understand the identity of the person who had come. The Yang family was now the leader of the 4 major families in Beijing. Someone dare to come here and cause trouble? Brat, do you dare to raise your head? Don't stand at the door and act mysterious. Yang Fei roared coldly. Qin Feng slowly raised his head with a casual smile on his face. When the Yang family members saw his face, they were instantly shocked. You're Qin Feng? After not seeing him for half a year, Qin Feng had more or less changed. His appearance was more handsome, and his aura had completely changed. At this moment, he stood in front of the Yang family's door like an immortal descending into the world. It really is Qin Feng. This brat actually came back. The Yang family members gradually came back to their senses. The conference room instantly exploded. Currently, China was spreading the news that Qin Feng had died in the forbidden sect. Who would have thought that this person would jump out in the middle of the night? It was as terrifying as seeing a living ghost. That's right, I'm still alive. Have I disappointed you? Qin Feng's voice was cold and pierced into everyone's hearts like an icy thorn. Although he had disappeared for more than half a year, his reputation was still fresh in everyone's minds. Now that Qin Feng had returned, the Yang family did not even dare to let out a fart. It's actually young Master Qin who's back. Quickly tell the servants to prepare a banquet and properly entertain young hero Qin. The Yang family's elder reacted the fastest. He immediately put on a peaceful smile, as if he was Qin Feng's old friend. If Qin Feng hadn't already known the news of the Yang family's betrayal, he would have been fooled by the old man's current performance. He didn't wait for the Yang family's relatives to leave and coldly said, "Do you want to call someone to inform them? I think there's no need to make it so troublesome. I just came from the Dongfang Garden. I killed that brat Yang Kan, so I came here tonight to destroy your Yang clan. Even if you call for Taoist Gu's help, I'm afraid you'll all be dead before he arrives." After disappearing for half a year, Qin Feng was still so domineering. His words made everyone in the Yang family unhappy, but none of them dared to show it. "Young Master Qin, what are you saying? How come I don't understand?" The Yang family's elder was still playing dumb. Qin Feng admired this old man's acting skills. "You don't understand? Then go ask the King of Hell." Rumble. In the blink of an eye, several balls of purple fire shot out. Before the crowd could react, more than half of the Yang family's disciples were already in the sea of fire. Screams filled the air, but Qin Feng didn't seem to hear them. The few who were lucky enough to survive quickly ran out of the door, shouting at Qin Feng as they ran for their lives. "Bastard Qin, don't be too arrogant. Huaxia is Taoist Gu's world now. Just you wait to die. Quick, send a message to Taoist Gu and ask him to come and kill this brat." Their fantasies were shattered by Qin Feng. With a raise of his hand, they fell into a pool of blood. Now that Qin Feng had broken through to stage 2 of the immortal qi, dealing with these internal qi and ordinary people who didn't cultivate was like killing ants. In just a few minutes, the huge conference room of the Yang family was empty. Not even a shadow or a corpse could be seen. That night, Qin Feng was very busy. He visited the major families in the capital and also went to the Dragon Sect, Saint Medic, and Divine Armament Hall. Overnight, the news of Qin Feng's return spread throughout the capital. Actually, many people had received the news yesterday, but most of them didn't believe it. But after tonight, everyone believed the rumor. It was late at night. A room in the Martial Artist Alliance's base was still brightly lit. A group of men dressed like ancient people stood in the room. There was another person sitting on the sofa. He looked to be in his 50s, had gray hair, and wore a black robe. He looked like an otherworldly master. Grand Elder Gu Tatian, I just received news from a Ma family in the capital that Qin Feng has returned. I also received news from the Acropolis city. Qin Feng seems to have returned yesterday. Grand Elder, the disciples planted by Saint Medic and Divine Armament Hall have been killed. The 5 disciples reported the situation, and all of their stories were related to Qin Feng. They were all disciples from the ancient sword sect of the Divine Land. Half a year ago, they came out of seclusion with Grand Elder Gu Tatian. When the disciples of other sects were forced to leave the extinction sect by Qin Feng, they secretly stayed in the secular world of Huaxia. Later, when they learned that Qin Feng had gone to the extinction sect, they ran amok in the secular world and achieved their current status. The 5 disciples looked bitter when they learned that Qin Feng had returned. They still remembered how Qin Feng fought against the disciples of other sects on the River Song beside Devil Beast Mountain. Grand Elder, what should we do now? Someone asked worriedly. Gu Taishan's face darkened, and his eyes were filled with murderous intent. Why should I be afraid of a brat who hasn't even grown his hair? I thought he had died in the Divine Land, but I didn't expect him to come back alive. But that's fine, I'll kill him with my own hands. That way, my reputation in the secular world of Huaxia will be even greater. Gu Tatian didn't think much of Qin Feng. Half a year ago, Qin Feng had forced the disciples of the Sacred Gate to leave the extinction sect, but that was only possible with the help of Huaxia's power and technology. Moreover, Gu Tatian didn't show up at all. He had decided not to go back the moment he came out of seclusion. He wanted to dominate the secular world. So why should he go back to the Divine Land and play the role of follower? The 5 disciples calmed down. They remembered that the Grand Elder had already reached stage 8 True Qi, who in the secular world of Huaxia could be his match. Even if Qin Feng came back, he would still be dead. Just as the worries in their minds dissipated, they heard an indifferent voice say, "Are you the ants of the Gujian sect?" The 6 disciples tensed up and immediately looked toward the door. Their hearts were in turmoil as they wondered when the white-clothed youth at the door had come in. They didn't notice him at all. "Who are you? Who let you in?" One of the disciples yelled at Qin Feng. "You say you want to kill me, but you don't even know who I am? What a joke." Qin Feng smirked. The 5 disciples were taken aback. One of them exclaimed, You're Qin Feng?" They recognized him even without Qin Feng's answer. Although Qin Feng's appearance had changed slightly over the past half a year, he still looked the same as before. The 5 disciples immediately got into formation and stared at Qin Feng's every move as if they were facing a formidable enemy. Qin Feng walked into the room as if nothing had happened. Every step he took was like a thunderbolt striking the hearts of the 5 disciples. "Didn't you want to kill me? Why do you look like you're afraid of me?" Qin Feng smirked. The 5 disciples didn't dare to make a move. They were all true Qi cultivators and could tell at a glance that Qin Feng's strength was extraordinary. His aura was unfamiliar, and neither was it inner Qi nor true Qi. Even Gu Tatian, who was sitting on the innermost sofa, had a serious expression on his face. He stared at Qin Feng in surprise, trying to see through this young man, but realized that he couldn't understand him at all. "Qin Feng, I know you have some skills, but you're like an ant in front of me. I'll give you a chance to live. You will follow me from now on and work for me." Gu Taishan's wizened voice rang out. Qin Feng was amused. "I say, old fart, have you become muddle-headed from living so long? Do you think you can convince me? What a joke." Qin Feng's face was nonchalant. Gu Tatian had no idea where he got his confidence from. The 5 disciples gradually calmed down. They were outnumbered and had Elder Gu Tatian with them. Why would they be afraid of Qin Feng? "How dare you speak so arrogantly in front of Elder Gu? You must be tired of living. Elder Gu, since this kid is unwilling to submit, we'll make him disappear from Huaxia tonight." The 5 disciples were vicious, and their words were full of threats. Just as Gu Tatian was about to make a move, he saw several bursts of fire. Before the 6 of them could react, the 5 disciples were engulfed in the sea of fire. Kaboom! Gu Taishan's eyes widened in shock as the explosions continued. He felt like he was dreaming. What did you do? Where are my 5 disciples?" The purple fire disappeared. Gu Tatian looked around the room several times but didn't see his disciples. Qin Feng's attack was swift and fierce. He could kill a group of true Qi ants in the blink of an eye. Even Gu Tatian couldn't tell what was going on. "I've killed them all. It's your turn now." Qin Feng's voice was indifferent, as if he was talking about something trivial. Fear rose in Gu Tatian's heart at that moment. He had thought that Qin Feng was only slightly stronger than him and was no match for him. However, it seemed that he had underestimated Qin Feng's strength. Don't do anything stupid. I'm the Grand Elder of the ancient sword sect of the Divine Land, and I've reached stage 8 true Qi. If we continue to fight, neither of us will win. Why don't we work together and dominate the secular world of Huaxiao from now on? Gu Tatian's mind raced, but Qin Feng found the idea laughable. Chapter 1498. I think you're overthinking. Killing you is easier than killing a chicken. Qin Feng suddenly thrust his palm forward as soon as he finished. Gu Tatian didn't even have a chance to react at the moment of the explosion. He was sent flying backward and slammed into the hard concrete wall, knocking it over. Qin Feng had purposely tortured Gu Tatian slowly, or he would have been smashed to pieces by that palm strike. That seemingly simple palm strike had completely awakened Gu Tatian. He realized that Qin Feng's power was beyond his imagination. As a stage 8 true Qi cultivator, he couldn't even fight back. Cold sweat broke out on Gu Tatian's forehead as he watched Qin Feng approach. He quickly yelled, Don't kill me. I'm the Grand Elder of the Gujian sect of the Divine Land. You may be powerful, but you're still too weak compared to the martial artists of the Divine Land. If I die in a mundane world, my sect master will come and kill you himself." Qin Feng sneered at Gu Tatian's threat. "The Gujian sect is nothing to me. Is your sect master called Guijian?" Gu Tatian was taken aback. An ominous feeling rose in his heart. You know my sect master? I don't know that ant, but he offended me, and I've already killed him. All right, I have another piece of good news for you. The Gujian sect has been destroyed in the Divine Land. Qin Feng tossed out each piece of shocking news that Gu Tatian almost fainted. Gu Tatian wondered if Qin Feng was lying to him. How could the Gujian sect be destroyed so easily? However, looking at Qin Feng's calm expression, it didn't seem like he was lying. "Wait, didn't you go to the Divine Land? How did you get out?" Gu Tatian suddenly exclaimed. He remembered a serious problem. The formation between the Divine Land and the Huaxia mundane world only loosened once every 20 years. How did Qin Feng get out? Qin Feng looked at Gu Tatian with pity. "Fine, you're going to die soon. I'll let you know the current situation in the Divine Land before you die. The 5 venerables of the Divine Land have all abdicated, and the Celestial Spirit sect is now the strongest. The group of peak true Qi-9 cultivators has been killed. Apart from me, the sect master of the Thousand Shadows sect, Qin Shun, has the highest cultivation." Qin Feng spoke casually, but it stirred waves in Gu Tatian's heart. If the secular world of Huaxia had undergone great changes in the past 6 months, then the Divine Land would have been completely different. Gu Tatian's eyes were full of doubt. He had always doubted Qin Feng's words. How could anyone in the Divine Land kill the 5 venerables? "You don't believe me?" Qin Feng glanced at Gu Feng. Gu Tatian. Kid, you can continue making up stories. If you have such a big brain hole, why don't you write it? I've read a supreme hedonist book written by young Master Du. You're just as good at bragging as the main character in the book. Qin Feng smiled again and did not even bother explaining this time. He casually slapped Gu Tatian and burned him to ashes in the immortal fire before Gu Tatian could react. Gu Cultivator Feng to Gu were. In other people's eyes, he was as powerful as a god and couldn't be offended. In Qin Feng's eyes, he was worse than a pig or a dog. After destroying the Gujian sect's forces, Qin Feng swaggered toward the martial art alliance's underground prison. He knew that the dragon god was still locked inside. "Who are you? What are you doing in the dungeon?" That kid looks familiar. I think I've seen him somewhere before." The security in the martial art alliance was very tight, especially in the dungeon, which was heavily guarded. Qin Feng glanced at the 8 guards and said, "I am Qin Feng. Get out of here if you don't want to die." The 8 guards were enraged. How dare someone mess with them in the Martial Artist Alliance? However, 3 of them suddenly froze midway. They finally realized who Qin Feng was. Young Master Qin? Are you young Master Qin? Greetings, young Master Qin. I didn't expect you to be back. The 8 guards trembled in fear. They had all submitted to Taoist Gu, but they were just minor characters. Qin Feng couldn't even be bothered to kill them. "Where is Senior Divine Dragon?" Qin Feng asked coldly. One of them said, and in the solitary cell at the end of the dungeon. Qin Feng had already jumped into the dungeon. The 8 guards were scared out of their wits. They even went to Perfected Master Gu's room and found that Perfected Master Gu and his disciples were all gone. The Martial Artist Alliance's dungeon was huge enough to hold thousands of people. The dungeon was full of people. Qin Feng used the Talisman of Clairvoyance to look inside and found that many of them were his subordinates. Boom! A loud noise echoed in the dungeon. The people in the dungeon were scared out of their wits. After a while, some people exclaimed, Someone opened the dungeon's door? Our door has also been opened. What's going on? There's someone outside. Who are you? Young Master Qin? Is there something wrong with my eyes? I can't believe I saw young Master Qin. Qin Feng destroyed all the dungeon doors, and the people inside ran out. Everyone gathered around Qin Feng. They felt like they were dreaming as they looked at Qin Feng, who was dressed in white and had an otherworldly temperament. Don't worry, everyone. I've killed Perfected Master Gu. Everyone is safe now. Qin Feng's voice echoed in the dungeon. The people were stunned and cheered. They were all heroes who had been on Qin Feng's side. When they heard that Qin Feng had returned to the top, they knew that they had made the right choice. Qin Feng saw Zhang Ye in the crowd. He was a member of the Dragon Gate Huang group. He had joined Qin Feng a long time ago and guarded Hero City with Lu Jie and long hair. Zhang Ye, bring me to Senior Dragon God, Qin Feng said. Zhang Ye woke up with a start. He realized that the situation in front of him was not a dream. Young Master Qin had really returned. The 2 of them came to the deepest part of the dungeon. There was a single cell. The cell door was made of bulletproof material, and the other 3 sides were impenetrable concrete and steel walls. Qin Feng slapped the bulletproof door, and it collapsed with a loud bang. Zhang Ye was dumbfounded. The room was dark and damp. Qin Feng walked in alone, leaving Zhang Ye to guard the door. As soon as he walked into the cell, he felt a sense of danger behind him. Qin Feng reached out and caught the person who ambushed him. Senior Dragon God, why did you ambush me? Fortunately, Qin Feng reacted quickly. Otherwise, Divine Dragon would have been burned to ashes. Divine Dragon had been locked up in the cell for several months, and he had not seen a ray of sunlight. His white robe was covered in dust, his hair was disheveled, and his face was pale. He looked very pathetic. However, at this moment, Divine Dragon's black eyes shone, and he stared at Qin Feng. Qin Feng, you really back? Qin Feng had been asked this question by too many people since he came back. He was almost numb to it. Divine Dragon, you're such a scumbag. How did you get caught? Qin Feng was probably the only person in China who dared to talk to Divine Dragon like this. Divine Dragon was not angry. Instead, he grabbed Qin Feng's arm excitedly. Since you came to the dungeon, it means that you've killed Perfected Gu and the rest, right? Qin Feng nodded nonchalantly. He felt that killing Taoist Gu was a trivial matter. They're just a bunch of ants. I can kill them with a wave of my hand. Divine Dragon almost vomited blood when he saw Qin Feng's casual expression. He had fought with Perfected Gu before, but he was defeated in 3 moves. The 12 Peaks of Dragon Gate had fought with Perfected Gu before, but they were defeated in less than 10 moves. Currently, no one in China's secular world could defeat Perfected Gu. However, to Qin Feng, that person was like an ant. Can you speak properly, brat? What's going on outside? Divine Dragon said with a cold expression. Qin Feng did not tease Divine Dragon for his brother-in-law's sake. He said sternly, I came back from China the day before yesterday, and I've already wiped out the forces in Acropolis City and Capital City. I killed Perfected Gu 10 minutes ago. In a few days, China's secular world will be back to normal. Qin Feng said it casually, but Divine Dragon felt like he was listening to a myth. He sized up Qin Feng carefully and realized that there was a huge change in Qin Feng's aura. It was not true qi, but a mysterious aura. China? Where is that? Divine Dragon was dumbfounded. It's the extinction sect. People there call it China, Qin Feng said simply. He was afraid that Divine Dragon would not be able to accept it if he said too much. The extinction sect's formation only loosens once every 20 years. How did you get out? By the way, what's your level now? Why can't I understand anything? Divine Dragon was once the pinnacle of martial arts in China's secular world. At this moment, he was staring at Qin Feng like a curious baby. It's better if you don't know my level, lest you're sad. Qin Feng smiled. Divine Dragon rolled his eyes. Don't keep me guessing. You're at stage 9 true qi at most. I'm at stage 6 true qi now. I'll catch up to you soon. Although Divine Dragon said it casually, he was amazed. It had only been half a year, and Qin Feng had jumped from stage 4 true qi to stage 9 true qi. This brat's breakthrough speed was like a rocket. Divine Dragon's level was beyond Qin Feng's expectations. It seemed that he had not been slacking off in the past 6 months. True Qi realm? That's in the past. I've stepped into the higher immortal realm. Brother Divine Dragon, you need to continue working hard. Divine Dragon was stunned, and his eyeballs fell to the ground. There was no celestial lord in China's secular world. Divine Dragon had only heard Ling Jiuqian mention celestial lords once, but he never thought that he would meet a celestial lord in person today, and that person was his brother-in-law. Brat, are you kidding me? How could you step into the immortal realm? Divine Dragon still could not accept it. Qin Feng rolled his eyes and casually struck out with his palm. The sound was so loud that the entire underground prison seemed to be shaking. Divine Dragon opened his eyes and saw that the solid wall had collapsed. Why would I lie to you? Now that I've taken over the land of China, I thought of making a trip back. I didn't expect so many things to happen in China's secular world. Fortunately, I came back in time. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable, Qin Feng said with his mouth twitched. Friends who read books, you can search for Blue Book Bar, and you'll find this site immediately. Chapter 1499. The two chatted for a while, and the Divine Dragon was completely stunned. When they walked out of the cell, everyone stood outside. Many people had gone out to check and found that Gu Tatian and his men were nowhere to be found. They thought that Qin Feng had probably scared them away. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Qin Feng's name once again resounded across the land of Huaxia. Many powerful families and clans collapsed in these 3 days, and a game of reshuffling went on in the dark. Qin Feng was thankful for Gu Taishan's appearance. The man had helped him identify those who were pretending to be on his side and helped him get rid of those fence-sitters. Qin Feng didn't participate in the follow-up and left it to his women. He was lying on Lu Bingbing's bed, and they had been fighting since last night until dawn. Qin Feng had no intention of stopping, but there was a knock on the door. Bing Bing, who's knocking on your door so early in the morning? Qin Feng complained. Lu Bingbing was naked and sitting in Qin Feng's arms. She hugged Qin Feng's neck tightly and looked like she wanted more. Her sexy and voluptuous body made Qin Feng's heart burn. I don't care who he is, I still want. Qin Feng had trained Lu Bingbing to be this seductive vixen. However, she only showed her charm in front of Qin Feng, and no other man could touch her. The knocking on the door became urgent, and an old man's voice came. Young Master Qin, are you there? Lu Bingbing was startled and exclaimed, The 12 Peaks are here. Hey, don't move, it's so embarrassing. Qin Feng grumbled inwardly about the 12 old men and wondered why they were here at this time. Nevertheless, he quickly put on his clothes and went downstairs to open the door. There were 12 old men standing outside the door. They smiled when they saw Qin Feng, as if they were here to trick Qin Feng into joining a multi-level marketing organization. Hey, it's so early in the morning. Why don't you let me? Ahem, sleep? Qin Feng grumbled. He was probably the only person in the whole of Huaxia who dared to talk to the 12 Peaks like that. The 12 old men looked embarrassed. They realized that they had interrupted Qin Feng and Lu Bingbing, but they pretended that they didn't know anything. Huh, young Master Qin, we have important matters to discuss with you, the representatives of the 12 upper peaks said. Qin Feng brought the 12 people into the house. Everyone sat around the sofa. The 6 old men had no place to sit, so they just stood to the side. Seniors from the 12 upper peaks, you're here. Lu Bingbing had already put on her clothes and went downstairs. These 12 people were all her superiors, so it wasn't good for her to not show up. Team leader Lu, sorry to bother you. Although they were Lu Bingbing's superiors, no one in the Dragon Gate could control Lu Bingbing and Yin Wushuang because of Qin Feng. Lu Bingbing poured tea for everyone, then wrapped her arms around Qin Feng's neck and sat in his embrace. Now that everyone in China knew that Lu Bingbing was Qin Feng's woman, she didn't need to be so distant in front of the 12 peaks. As Qin Feng touched Lu Bingbing's body, he said, "Tell me, why did you come looking for me?" The representative of the 12 upper peaks laughed and said, "Hee, young Master Qin, it's all thanks to your sudden return that you suppressed Taoist Gu and allowed the Chinese martial world to return to normal. We, the 12 upper peaks, are here to thank you on behalf of the Dragon Sect." Qin Feng curled his lips and said, "That's it? All right then. I already know your intentions. Please go back." Lu Bingbing was speechless. Qin Feng's attitude towards the 12 upper peaks was too overbearing. However, she wouldn't say anything. Qin Feng was her man, so she would naturally stand on his side. The 12 upper peaks blushed and felt extremely awkward. Ahem, young Master Qin, to tell you the truth, there's another important matter that we need your help with. Qin Feng knew that these 12 old guys had something to ask of him. However, he was a member of the Dragon Sect, so he didn't reject the 12 upper peaks. Get to the point, Qin Feng said indifferently. Recently, the intelligence departments of various countries have received news from an organization in Nepal, South Africa. They claim that they've developed a batch of biochemical mecha soldiers and want all countries to submit to them. Otherwise, they'll destroy the world. The representatives of the 12 upper peaks looked serious. Qin Feng and Lu Bingbing were depressed. A small organization in South Africa dares to say such big words? Why do you need to care about them? Qin Feng was puzzled. The representatives of the 12 upper peaks looked bitter. Young Master Qin is right. There are many organizations like this in South Africa. Normally, we wouldn't care about them. However, this time, they really have a very strong biochemical mecha soldier. They released a video saying that the biochemical mecha's destructive power is comparable to our Chinese True Chi realm martial artists. At this point, Qin Feng and Lu Bingbing became serious. Most martial artists in China's secular world were still at the inner Chi realm. There weren't many True Chi realm martial artists. They didn't think that a small organization in South Africa could develop a biochemical mecha soldier that was comparable to the True Chi realm. Did you bring the video? Let me see, Qin Feng said immediately. The 12 upper peaks came prepared. One of them immediately opened his laptop and played a video. In the video, a weird-looking mecha man appeared. He had many weapons on him and almost all the guns and cannons. When he saw this mecha man, Qin Feng's brows furrowed. This is something made by the Supreme Mecha System. Qin Feng muttered. The 12 upper peaks didn't hear him clearly. One of them asked, "Young Master Qin, what did you say?" Qin Feng suddenly came back to his senses. He thought that he almost exposed the system. He casually came up with a cover, but the doubts in his heart were still unresolved. When he destroyed the Verdant Gate base, he devoured the Supreme Mecha System near Neil's nest in South Africa. Now that half a year had passed, why did these mechas appear again? Young Master Qin, the other party released a final notice yesterday. They said that if the countries don't surrender in 3 days, they'll start a war. It's because of the urgency of the situation that we had no choice but to disturb you. The representative of the 12 upper peaks had a bitter expression. Qin Feng had already figured out the situation. The small organization in South Africa could do anything. Now that they had a large number of these powerful mechas in their hands, it would be very terrifying if they really started a large-scale war. Liu Bingbing also realized the situation and immediately said, "Qin Feng, I'll go with you." "No need, I'll go alone to take a look. It's just a bunch of broken mechas. They can't do anything." Qin Feng was very confident. Now that he had stepped into Stage 2 Immortal Qi Realm, he naturally wasn't afraid of those mechas. However, he was a little confused. Where did these mechas come from? Could it be that there was something similar to the supreme mecha system in China's secular world? Seeing that Qin Feng was willing to go, the 12 upper peaks heaved a sigh of relief. With young Master Qin's help, I believe this crisis can be resolved. That's right, young Master Qin. This time, the countries have formed an alliance and agreed to meet at a contact point near Neil's Nest at 9 a.m. the day after tomorrow. At that time, the countries will join forces and destroy that evil organization. The 12 upper peaks said some important things, but Qin Feng didn't care. He could deal with this matter alone, but it didn't matter to him if the other countries wanted to go. Once they were done with their business, the 12 upper peaks tactfully left. Liu Bingbing was more or less worried. That was a group of mechas with great destructive power. Could Qin Feng really go alone? "Qin Feng, I'll go with you to Neil's Nest tonight." Liu Bingbing hugged Qin Feng tightly. After being reunited after half a year, she didn't want to leave Qin Feng's side for even a second. The battle between the two hadn't ended yet. Qin Feng's stomach was burning, and he pushed Liu Bingbing down on the sofa in the living room. They fought until dusk. Qin Feng wore his clothes contentedly and went to the airport. Liu Bingbing wanted to follow, but he persuaded her to stay. There was already a private plane waiting for Qin Feng at the airport. The other countries sent many elite troops for this operation, but Qin Feng came alone from China. Moreover, Qin Feng sat on the plane with a relaxed expression. Those who didn't know would think he was going on a vacation. The plane arrived on time. It was 8 a.m. in South Africa, and there was still an hour before the 9 a.m. meeting time. Qin Feng had been here before, so he had a good understanding of the surrounding terrain. However, he still didn't know where the base of the organization with the mechas was. He could only find a contact point first, then go with the people from the other countries. In a forest, Qin Feng found a temporary contact point. This part of the forest was already occupied by soldiers from various countries. Many people were patrolling, and there were a few tents set up in the depths of the forest. The leaders of the various countries' troops gathered together to discuss strategies. "Hey, who are you? Don't take another step forward, or else you'll die." Just as Qin Feng walked into the forest, a few English guys pointed their guns at him and shouted. Qin Feng acted as if he didn't hear them and continued to walk forward. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, a series of gunshots rang out. Hundreds of bullets were fired at Qin Feng at the same time. Many soldiers from other countries heard the news and rushed over, thinking that their base had been discovered. The gunshots soon stopped, and the few English guys who fired the shots walked toward the place where Qin Feng was standing. They weren't on guard at all, thinking that Qin Feng had been shot into a hornet's nest. However, as soon as they walked in front of him, a few of them screamed, "Oh no, that person isn't dead. Everyone, be careful. The enemy has entered the range of our contact point. How could it not be dead? Is there anyone who can dodge hundreds of bullets?" The crowd was in chaos. The few English guys who fired the shots were shocked, as if they had seen a ghost. Soon, hundreds of people rushed over from nearby. These were the elite forces from various countries. "What's going on? Our contact point has been discovered by the enemy. Commander, what should we do now? Should we evacuate? Where's the enemy? Why can't I see a single person?" The people who rushed over did not understand the situation at all. Other than the teams from their countries, there was no one else in the forest. Friends who read books, you can search for Blue Book Bar, and you'll find this site as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.